Okay, start, madam.
Good evening to one and all present virtually. We are in the third day of the short-term course on yoga, the tool for harmonizing the self and the world. On behalf of IQAC, a warm welcome to all the participants. Let us start the program with prayer.
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः.
Today, we have with us Professor P.V. Selvam, Dean Faculty of Education, as a resource person for the first session. I deem it a privilege to introduce him to the august audience. Professor P.V. Selvam has nearing 3 decades of experience in higher education. Under his guidance, 17 PhDs has been awarded and 105 MPhils. He has presented 20 papers in national and 88 papers in international conferences. He has published 3 books, Anatomy and Physiology for Physical Education, Kinesiology, and Sports Science. He is an editorial member of the Asian Network for Scientific Information and Academic Journals. He is the editor in the International Journal of Multidisciplinary Research and Modern Education, in the International Journal of Sports Fitness and Exercise Sciences, Asian Science Bulletin. He has visited Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Thailand, and China on academic affairs. He is recipient of many awards, to name a few: Udar Kalvi Jeeva Jyoti, Best Social Worker, Lifelong Achiever Award, Yoga Acharya Award, Yuvashri Award, Lifelong Golden Achievement Award 2020, Global Teacher Award. He is also holding responsibilities as the Secretary of the Tamil Nadu Masters Netball Association, Secretary of Tamil Nadu Mixed Netball Association, Vice President of the Masters Netball Federation of India. He is also a member of the NCT visiting team member. He is the selection committee member in Tamil Nadu Youth Field Archery Association. Such a versatile person is going to deal the session on physical health and well-being for transformation. On behalf of the IQAC of Annamalai University, a warm welcome to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for the introduction.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I congratulate the IQAC team and the organizing committee members to have a wonderful program for the short-term course from 9th to 16th. So this is the right time, it's the right title you are chosen for the to promoting the society in a high way. So normally, especially in this junction, I express my view that our Vice Chancellor always is motivating to us to have such programs, because promoting certain activities in the university campus. Really appreciate the motivation of our Vice Chancellor only. We are all doing such type of activities in the university campus. Then my title is, just a minute, I'll share my PowerPoint. Is it visible? Madam?
No, sir.
Sir, click share screen, sir.
Sailila madam is there. Wait, she's doing it.
Madam,
Sailila madam is with Dean, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, madam. So normally my title is Physical Health and Well-being for Transformation. So normally, what is a physical health? Because free from the illness and the injury. And what is a well-being? Well-being is we are living in the healthy and happy way. So normally, if you are doing the activities, because every individual need for the successful in their life. So whatever your workload, whatever we have the assignments and whatever the responsibility, everything we have to do it in perfect manner, without fatigue and without stress. So this is comes under that physical health and well-being. So normally, according to the biological theory, normal lifespan of human is 120 years. But 99.9% of them before they can they finish their life. What is the reason behind on that? Just imagine it. Because normally, if you have taken our foreparents, even 100 years, or in our knowledge is 100 years, they are doing all type of work, and they had the perfect manner. They had to survey their life. But due to lot of things, we cannot able to keep up under our foreparents. The reason is, first and foremost reason is how we can get the energy of our body. So normally, in olden days, we are having the natural farming, but nowadays what happening? Everything is a fertilizers. So only if you are taking a fertilizers, then how it will get the energy to our body? So that create a lot of problems in our body. So normally, even if you are taking the olden days, the death, if you are making only for the death making of only infection diseases. But nowadays, what happening? Everything's on chronic diseases. So all because of our food habits. So once we are change over it, then only we can success for it. But we cannot do it for all those things suddenly. But at the same time, normally, once if you get the energy, so our cells, they are playing a major role for our life. Cells are healthy, definitely our body is healthy. Cells are unhealthy, body is unhealthy. Cells are aged, body aged. Cells are dead, or body dead. So everything is based on your cell conditions. So cell where you have to get the energy, because nowadays properly we cannot get for energy for all those things. So automatically what happening? It leads to some defects of the body. Normally, then apart from that, nowadays what we surrounded for our lifestyle totally we change over for the time. Even if you are taking the olden days now, because whenever the promotion of anything else, any changes in our lifestyle, everything is based on the technology. So technology is a good aspect. At the same time, the technology leads to the lot of problem also. So that should be avoided for the time. So normally, because of our environment, so all the electromagnetic frequencies and the unwanted things, the junk foods that spoil our health. So normally, especially for the electromagnetic frequencies that spoil our health in a higher range. So we cannot survive, because normally what happened in our human body, normally when we are saying that the young peoples, they are doing very much efficient manner, energetic manner. Even if you are anybody making the lot of mistakes, what we are doing, nonsense things, we are telling that's a young blood, they had to behave like this only. Because the blood flow, everything's on your body blood flow. If blood flow going normally, so automatically the forceful movement, so automatically we get more energy and we can enrich our life. But what happening nowadays? Due to the electromagnetic frequencies, the blood flows are making that distracted. So due to the distracted, what happening? The blood flow making a slowdown. Once we are making a slowdown, So automatically all the problems, all the chronic problem arises in our body. So normally in our body, they have the normal cells, but due to the factors, due to the environment factors, the cells are abnormal. If your cells are abnormal, so automatically leads to all the problems arises in our body. So already I told that. So if you are a physical well-being means whatever the workload you are having, whatever the assignment you are having, your daily activities, if you are make it up in proper way without fatigue or without physical stress. But already I have seen, normally these environments making a stress to yourself. Once we are have a stress, so their lifespan will be reduces. So they are not able to make it up all those things. So whenever if you want to do, you can concentrating on your wealth and you have to concentrate on your health. Once if you are make it up, your life will be in a peaceful manner. Normally, because these are things will be happening in our lifestyle, because due to the scientific changeover, we will make it up. But some of the things we can make it up to make it a some way we can make it up in a proper way. For example, setting up a comfortable ergonomic work or study space at home to prevent the pain or injury. Normally, because whenever you are doing in this junction, I want to tell that nowadays everybody, due to the pandemic, everybody they are using the online. So we are using the electronic devices. So only the way to make a communicate or making a translate or making a surveys of the society. So normally due to that workload, we are having a lot of injuries, pains happening in our body. For example, overuse injuries, headaches, muscle aches, fatigue, and pinch nervousness. So how we can prevent for the problems? So normally when if you are sitting in a chair or something else, whenever you are making up, that environment should be common. That environment is common. So based on the employees, that situation will change over. Once we are making a situation, so somewhat the things will be, we can neglect it for the done and we can make it a normal matter. Suppose for example, I do something else. If I have a peaceful, my body will be peaceful. So I can perfect longer duration. But if we do something else, I had some pain or something else in our body. So what happening automatically? So I have to make enough, my workload will be lesser. So normally in our life, we want to do anything else, the perfection of your workload. Whenever if you are doing the perfection of workload, so you are success in your life. We are not able to perfection in your workload, definitely leads to a lot of problem to your mental stress, everything will be happening to that. You cannot able to do it for the perform or well. So normally, when if you are sitting in the, because first of all, during the starting of the pandemic only, we are also learning of the how to use the computer and everything. I remember in my life itself, because first day, just I sit on the 1 week, I sit on the computer and do taking classes, everything. But I have some pain. So immediately, one of my close friend is the Mr. Jayapras. He is one of the organizer thing. I just inquired him, what I had to have some pain or something else happening. Then immediately he come over and he observed all those things, because he is the man of the using the computer programmer. So he told us, sir, that the height will be basically less. So if your height is less, so automatically what happening? You are making a more strain on the things, so it may making that less. So based on our things, we can use for the, because of the recommendation only. Just I make a cushions in my seat. Now I am comfortable. I'm doing my work right then. Then some basic tips to set up safe and comfortable work or study space. For example, already I told that adjust your chair height. When if you are sitting, your both feet are touching the floor and your hip as well as the knee, approximately you can maintain for the 90 degrees, then we feel the comfortable. If there will be changeover, so definitely the more strain on the particular joint and it leads to your lacking of your performances. Then same way, because our cervical, that is a very essential part of our body, because whenever if you are having, because all the nervous, the transmit of the messages there, it making a major role for the front. If anything happen in that particular area, what happening? It leads to the distract of the other activities. So the same way, we had to keep on your back straight and relaxed manner, whatever may be, because during the due to your convenience, your feasibilities, because someone will be sitting the erect in 90 degree, that's comfortable for him. Someone is sitting at 80 degree, that will be comfortable. Because already we have a lot of workload in our lifestyle. So every individual, they have a different mode. So it depends upon your relaxed position. You can sitting in a correct position. So then you have to make it up for all those things. Then whatever you are doing, wherever you are doing, that's a comfortable and relaxed positions. Because normally when using the computer, because always you are in your hands, the shoulder just making a major role of doing all those things. So you have to adjust according to your height, according to your shoulder position, according to your relaxed position. So you have to do it for the things. Then another one is, so normally the position of the monitor, because everything will like simply we are saying, simply computer is there, we can sit and we have to do whatever thing. No, every aspect should be taken a very important aspects to pursue for everything, because we can sit longer duration, because once nowadays this is the way you can promote all those things for the education. You've taken a classes or conducting any programs, if you're all sitting through the online, so you have to sit in front of the computer or something else. So you have to concentrate on all these aspects to making of a safe yourself, because these things will be needed for us on the current situation scenario, but at the same time we have to maintain our health in a safe position. So normally that next one is the position of your monitor close to enough, because the reason is if you are close to you cannot bend forward. So if you are bent forward or bend backward, or if you are having that, if you are too lengthy also, what happening? So the eyes making the more concentration or more stress on the looking of the screen. So these things will be concentrated wherever if you are having, because nowadays most of the people I've seen, it's without AC we cannot live. Likewise. So that also, even if you are some of the article I observed it, even if you are using, don't make it up more than 24 or 26. You're less than, if you make it less than that, that's too much spoil your health. So that is needed for ourselves. That is essential for us. But at the same time, you have to maintain the things. Whenever if you are doing that, some of the things will be happening in your life. So based on your health, based on your circumstances, you can adjust for the time. Then keep the body moving, maintaining movements throughout your work or study time normally, because nowadays, especially after the pandemic situation, everybody, we are sitting in the house, we are doing even reading or writing or anything else, whatever you are work doing, you are simply sitting in the hall or something else. So whenever if you are sitting a long period, definitely it leads to some problems arises in our body. In any age group, you're sitting in a long place. So whenever if you are doing, you have to do something else, do some exercises, something else you can do it. You can activate your all joints and muscles. Then that is very good for you and promote your health. Regular posture, breaks and movement are an important part of maintaining physical well-being normally. So normally, if your posture will be maintained in a normal manner, as well as you can do it always, some activities in your body. Even if you are sitting in the room, you can do something else. You can move from one place to another place. You have to do something else, and you can make it up for the things will happen a very nice place. Then such breaks helps up to avoid overuse injuries. Normally, if you haven't given a rest and play. We are especially in a sports field, we are calling a rest and play. If you are continuously playing, what happening? All the muscles are get tired and it leads to some injuries. So if you are doing some work, so you have to give some break and you can concentrate something else, and again you have to come over there. So that over stress should be avoidable. The muscles fatigue or regaining or some things. So then, because normally I already told that whatever if you are having, if you are doing right things in the right concept and successful manner, if you are not able to do any type of activity, that leads to all the problems arises in your body. So that should be avoidable for the body. Then moving regularly throughout the day also supports a healthy metabolism, keeping our whole system well regulated. Normally, whenever you are doing any type of activities, even if you are seeing, if you are reading something else, that also if you are making the metabolites, but at the same time, if you are make a movement from one place to another place, something will be higher of the metabolites will be happening place. If your metabolics happening, so automatically all the wastage will be eliminated from our body and our body feeling free for the food. Normally, what they are saying, whenever daily you have to do the exercise, why you have to tell the daily using the exercises? You are doing the exercise, so the more workload will be happening, or more biochemical reactions happening, or metabolism will be happening in your body. So the wastage will be eliminated from your body. So that will making the keep your body in fit. In our usual work, the study spaces, we often get movement and posture breaks naturally through walking from the bus stop or car park, walking between meetings or classes, walking to the printer or kitchen, going to get a cup of tea, and so on. Normally, because if you want, you have to do something else. Because what normally where they are simply sitting in the office and ask them bring the tea and whatever if you are making, even if your things be happening, even they are not able to make a walk in one place to another place. Everything they needed. Even I insist to our students, whenever you get a chance, if your time permits, you can go. Don't use the lift. You can use the steps to go on them. So some other way, because scientific equipment only emergency purpose, only essential only you can use for the front. So remaining thinking you can use it for the exercise, the physical exercise. So that is a more useful for you. Even if your classes, after the meeting, just to make around a walking, just to go around after the places, you have to come over. You feel better and you have to do your activities in an efficient manner. During this time, many of these incidental breaks do not occur. As such, to ensure you take regular breaks, it is important to structure from your body. Normally, whenever if you are doing any type of activity, you have to give some break. Even if you are throughout the day, if you read, what happening? Some mental stress will be happening place of the. If you have the program, if you have the schedule, in the schedule also, you have to sometime you can allot for them to do some activities. Okay. For example, every 20 to 30 minutes, this is for normally we are saying, so it depends upon the individual, you have to make it a for every 20 to 30 minutes, stand up and walk around for 2 minutes. So wherever if you are any work, 12 hours, 10 hours, whatever time you are working, that is a limit, because depends upon the workload, we have to workload. Working the lesser or shorter or the longer duration. So whatever it may be, so whenever if your time permits, just to make a simple break and just to make around walk around. Once if you make a walk around, your cells are activated and you are energized to do all the type of activities. And also normally, because the arthritis problems normally it happen to those who are sitting in front of the system, simply they are doing. So you have to use some activities. For example, swing your arms, you can make a movement, twisting, something else. Some stretches will be stretching exercise. You have to do it for the front that suit your life, and you can have a very good lifestyle happening of your life. Do you follow a daily routine to nurture your mind and body? Normally, because especially for the pandemic situation, because most of the peoples nowadays, even we also taken a classes through online. Some of them are offline, some of them are online. So totally we have a plan. Normally, if you have a routine work, you fix some routine work. So once we have the routine work, so our mind will be free. My mind will get ready to activate for the front. Once we are planned, so based on the plan, you have to get ready, make it your mental freshness, or if you call it as a mental health, to face all type of activities. The routine decreases normally if you are not making a routine. So if you are not making a time schedule, even if you are a general life, it's just to think it over. If you are not making a routine programs, so automatically that leads your stress. Once if you are making a routine work, so you have this time you can make it up. Okay, this time you have allotted for this work. So automatically the stress will be reduces and you are free from all those things. Normally, if you are in a home, because normally if you do the same activity, for example, if you're taking a classes, I also doing something, sometimes I'll make it like this. So especially in the starting of pandemic period, continuously we taken a classes. So at the time, what happening? I had to inform to my children, okay, today I had to prepare something else. Because mind diversion will be taken place. Mind diversion from taken place. Or something will be some activities we can do it for, even if you have an interest of the some painting or something else, you have to do it for the things. Because monotonous activities also which have the leads to the stress. So find your 30 minutes continuous to exercise. Normally, 30 minutes a day, you can allot 30 minutes a day, it's enough for that, for all the individuals. But depends upon the individual, you can increase, but may not be decrease. Minimum 30 minutes you can do it for any exercise that keep on, you are fit enough yourself. Because once you are fit, we can have a own confidence about yourself and you have to do any type of activity. If you are lack of fitness, so definitely it leads to that you are psychologically depressed and we cannot do the other activities. So normally, if you are doing regularly, you can doing exercise or yoga regularly for the turn. Once if you are doing exercise or regular, normally what they are asking, no? Some of them they are asking during the pandemic period, whatever space available, you can do it for the exercise. Whatever space, especially yoga, one simple space is there, you can enough for you can do it for the yoga exercise. So mild to moderate activity. So normally, whenever we're doing that, because after the pandemic, we are handling several webinars. In that, I insist the students, because due to the pandemic, in the initial stage, everybody the struggle, because they are not having the concentrate to making of the exercise or something else, because due to that what do you call as some negative aspects of the corona. So really, in that aspects, in the junction, I salute the corona because of the corona. Every individuals nowadays they turn up of our regular routine activities, because once you have made a routine activities, that also we can avoid for all those things, because in our core parents, all the systems they are making a proper way, but we are avoid from the things, so we are face all type of these things. Once if you have the more immunity power, what happening? So if your immunity power, your fitness is there, automatically immunity also increases in your body. So always you have to make it as the mild to moderate activity, not make it like severe activities or major activities. One simple things you can do the mild or moderate activity, that is enough for each individuals to activate something else in your body. Then gym or online resources for activities nowadays. Because at the time of, because when you have chances, you can go for gym. But nowadays, there is a slight confusion whether you have to go to gym or not. But lot of online resources for the physical activities. So just you can go now, you search for the one, you can adopt any one resources, and based on the resources, you can practice for the one. Through the practice, you can regularly, you can make an activities and keep fit on yourself, walk regularly. That also, when the initial period of the corona, I asked my students to walk regularly. So where you have to go? They are not allowed to make a walk in the ground. They are not allowed in the pavilion or something else. I told them, just walk in your house itself. Just to go around. Even if you want, your parents or your sisters or brothers, they ask anything, okay, don't worry, I'll go and get it. So just you can support your family members through that, you can make an activation for them. Once you can make it like this, you can get a brisk enough. Apart from that, that's a very good name, get it from your family itself. Stick to same time of day or week, normally. So we had to make in a sense, I already told us, we make it in a some routine work. You can make in a schedule. Okay, I have a busy schedule on the day, I cannot able to do at least 30 minutes a day, or weekly twice, or weekly thrice, something you have to make a plan. So based on the plan, regularly you can make it to go through it. So automatically your body should adapt it. Normally I say, most of the peoples, because those who are regular practices, after that they cannot able to do it, they cannot take a rest. Again, they had to come out back to form. Definitely it is very difficult to that. But once if you are adapted for the one, the timing, so automatically your body cells, they are given a siren to you. Okay, this is the time for you. You have to go for a walk. Definitely it will happen. But beginning stage, it will take time. But once if you are making a practices, so automatically every time your cell, your body itself, or your organ itself, your tissue itself, they given a signal to you. Okay, you're ready to go for a walking, or ready to go for a cycling, or ready to go for a yogic exercise. Something they given an instruction to you. So you can always keep on the things, and at least minimum 30 minutes a day, you have to make a practice for the physical exercise or yoga or something else that's good for your lifestyle. Normally, what I say, that is the exercise. It is important to stay active even if you are currently staying home. Because even for example, if it's not a pandemic period, if you have the offline, so offline means definitely we have to move from our hostel to classroom, or classroom to ground, or somewhere else. Anyhow, from house to colleges or schools, somewhere you can make around over there. But especially during the pandemic period, we are sitting in the home alone. We are not able to, not possible to move out of from the home. So that time definitely you have to use for the exercise. Then only you can keep on your fitness and keep on your lifestyle being normal. If it is allowed and recommended in your area, you can take walks outside. If you cannot outside, already I told that, exercise, jumping jacks, sit-ups, something else you are doing in the house itself. Because one of my students just inquired, sir, I want to do something else from my students. Okay, nothing else. You can make some practices, freehand exercise, whatever you are doing practices in the field, you can make some freehand exercise, because something you can activate in your body, something. So if you wanted to wait, don't move for any objects. What are the items available in your house? Some pots or some bottles, something you can take it further through that you can make a practices. So definitely the students are enjoyable and they are doing, because we are given a content on program through online. So first we given simply under some exercises, freehand exercise. Sir, what sir? Same thing you are practicing. Okay, take your bottles in the room, in your house. Take something will be there. Even that's what is called as some of the round materials. Something you can take in. you are in your house, you can take and practice. So automatically, whenever if you are having a practices in new concepts involving, so definitely they are having an interest and they can placement of the things. So we can motivate the students, our children to do exercises regularly during the pandemic also. So try a new hobby. This is the main thing, because already I told that daily if you are doing something else, I have to do regularly something else. What happening? Some monotonous will be happening. I am not able to make it a proper way. So our mind getting a stress. For example, normally in our curriculum itself, they are having a syllabus. Why they are making a syllabus every hour? For example, 4 hours in a day. Every hour they have to change over the subject. Why they have to change over the subject? Because all the 4 hours we are teaching anatomy. For example, I given all 4 hours we are teaching anatomy. What happening? The students are fed up. They are not able to concentrate on this. So for the reason that the patterns be changed over. So same things have to be implemented in your lifestyle also. So if you do regularly, for example, I make using the computer regularly for the typing something else or prepare the notes or something else. So definitely my mind is stuck up and it's not be allowed to make movement onto the further steps. Or it having even if you are doing, so automatically what happening? It will be reduce my working efficiency. Really, I've seen some of them. Even if you are observing the classes, Mr. Srinivasan, they make the free exercise like this. That is a good thing for us, because when if you are doing, so something happened because your ear is hearing that my voice. What I'm taking a classes you are hearing, but at the same time you have to do something else. There is no way disturb to you. So especially in the pandemic season, everybody have to do something else and do the activities for the one, and cook a new healthy recipe. Because lastly I come out to the recipe, because normally nowadays most of the peoples they are not having a good recipe. Whatever available in the market they can take. For example, I'm not against of anything else, but for example I told that whenever if you take any fruits or vegetables, only the seasonal foods you can take in for the, that is good for health. Because unseasonal means this all, because normally seasonal food means maximum that is a naturally. Because no hybrid item come over there. Only if you're unseasoned, it come over there. That is the maximum. That is a hybrid item only. So that's not suitable for our body. And we can insist or in our house also we can. For example, normally every house will be happening. Normally regularly the housewife only cooking for all those things and everybody tested. Some other day or any one day in the month or year, just the father cooking the meals or something else, everybody enjoying the food. Why? The quality is not a good, but the routine will be changed over and new concept will come over. So they think, oh, this is a good for things. So that's a mentality of human being. So whenever you are doing regular things, some new concepts you can include it automatically. For example, in the most of the teachers also is there here, I think so. So once if you are a teaching method, if you are teaching something else, the same method you are following, so automatically what happening? The students having the something boreness. At the same time, just to shift over to some other teaching method. So for that reason, always what they're doing, the changes will be taken place always. Whenever we have changes taken place, normally most welcome by the subjects and students of the day. So we had use for the try a new art project. I already told them. So we had to do whatever. For example, if you are relaxed something and if you have an interest on something, you have to do interest or you have to have the habitual. Whatever you can make it up, you can use for the things. Definitely, your mind will be free, and automatically, once your mind will be free, what happening? You can do more activities and more enthusiastically you can involve for them. Especially for the IT field, just you can inquire any IT field. So throughout the year, they have the strenuous workload. But yearly once, 1 week, they have a fitness program. The manager or the higher IT companies, they are making a program for every year, 1 week, they conduct a program. What is the purpose? The huge amount spent for the fitness program. What is the purpose of that? Because what the survey they say is, if you are regularly, if you are doing the activities, they are doing that activity, but the efficiency of the activity will be lesser. But at the same time, if you are doing something else, so the physical fitness is differ from the particular area. So if you are doing different things, so automatically after that, their enthusiasm and their work efficiency increases. Even a lot of the schools also, they are making the study tour and something else. What is the purpose of study tour? That is the one way of enriching the knowledge. Apart from that, They are mind free, because totally if you are sitting in the class and doing further things, definitely they get bored. Normally, even if you are a school, if you are taken any schools or colleges, you just given us some other work in the classroom. Because daily they come over and sit in the classrooms. They are getting bored. If you are given assigned some other work, they have the more interest in doing that particular work. That is the nature. So you have to always change over of your programs, and you can make it up some creativity in that you have to make some creativity, and automatically everybody they have an interest and they can make it up. Apart from that, some of them they have to develop the qualities. Eating well. This is a very essential part. Eating well. So normally, already I told that. So food is a very good medicine for us. Some of the saints, what they are telling, if you are given importance to your tongue, your life will be spoiled. Because everything is tasted. Just you cross over, because nowadays everybody, the parota is famous. Just to cross over the parota shop, what happening? The noise, tak, 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 tak. The noise itself, the motivate us to take enough of the things. That is a bad for health. So why I telling that? Normally, for example, if in vegetables or fruits, some of them, they're not that much tasted for the tone. But the peoples are only for the attracting for the what the things are available in the marketing. So once you have taken the lot of chemicals to be there, So normally, whenever seen my peoples, when we are take a participate of the internet tournaments, we went somewhere else. My students ask us, sir, we want a cool drinks. Don't take cool drinks. If you want, you can get the internet. Coconut is there, you can use for the tone. Because natural things, if you use the natural things, automatically what happening? That's good for health. That is no way have the side effect for the tone. Normally, if you're anything happen, because a lot of materials available in the net as well as a lot of books are available in the net, especially in the eating pattern. So you control yourself and maximize for using for the fruits and vegetables. The other parts also, because in our life, in our food content, we are having all the nutritions. There's a carbohydrate, fat, and protein. Each thing you can concentrate for the tone. Based on that, you can take on a very good diet. So healthy diet, you can take it for the tone. That's more supportive of your life pattern, and no disease will be taken place with it. Once you are not control of the food habit, so automatically it leads to the all type of chronic diseases if you are facing now in your life. Normally, that same time also, because most of the people, especially in our physical education, most of the staff members, they are saying, sir, we have the tight schedule of work. We are having the tight schedule because we are always busy. So they are not maintaining the proper timing for a food intake. So always I told that whenever if your activities or food intake, anything else, if you are maintaining the time schedule, if you are making the time schedule, maintain the time schedule, that's good for your health. If you are unevenly, if you are taken and irregular timing, so automatically it leads to all type of the diseases, it leads to you and a lot of problems to arises to you. We cannot maintain our body in a very good health, good condition. So normally, especially during the lockdown period, most of them you also observing all those things. After the lockdown, the students they are having to put more weight on them. Because normally, even if you just think it over, just alone, you can sit in the house, you do something, when something you can eat for the time. So that is more than our capacity for eat. That also changes your habits, your eating habits. So that be corrected for that. For that reason only, when if you are alone in your house, even Saturday, Sunday, because some of them busy, some of them because everybody they are not busy in the during holidays. If you are not busy, what happening? They can take something else and they can make a more intake of the things. So you have to do some activities. If you're not working, you have to clean your house or something else. You can assist your family, or assist your brother or sister, or assist your neighboring. Something you have to do for all. You have to do some social work in your area. Someday you can engage in your life. Don't make it up a waste your time. If you are free, just you have to do something else. That because one way it's a physical education, physical activity. Apart from that, the mentality of your mind needs something else that should be avoidable. Then for something means eating too much or eating food that are unhealthy. Because normally I told that when if you are taken more food items, definitely it leads to the more problem for us. Because normally we are facing a lot of problem when the colleges are closed. When the colleges are closed, the students went to the home. So after return back, definitely their increase 5 or 10 kgs be increases. Because here they have the regular practices, regularly they are doing some activities, but once they are, especially those who are hostlers, they are staying in the hostlers, that problem will be facing. So once we are reached their house, what parents say, oh, they are studying, because what they are studying here, they don't know. But they think, oh, they are studying in the hostel, they make it too much stress. So they have to come out. Simply they given more food, and they are not given any work for them. So that also wrong concept. So we can do it something else. Even if you are assigned, the parents are saying you have to do something else, and you have to do some activities. Because here what happening? What intake based on that? If you are making a practice for normally, if you're having any exercise, some intake will be increases automatically because your physiological system will change over. Your need of energy will increases. Once your need increases, so automatically what happening? The need of intake, so automatically intake also increases. But that is a habitual, because you have the regular practice or regular exercise or regular yoga or regular walking, anything else. If you do something else, automatically your physiological systems, they have the capacity to increase the intake of content. Once if you adopt it, that's be adopted our body. Even if you have stopped the activity, but still they are taking the same amount of intake, so that leads to the lot of problem. So based on the intake, whatever you intake take, you can take for the thing. Even if you're in the not having the facility to do any activity, I ask them to take minimize of food content, because you are not doing any type of activities, so you can reduce for the term. That you have to maintain for them. Normally, in this junction only, I want because already I told that I think December 16th, our brother Modi conducted one seminar. In the seminar, he had just to motivate all the publics. You can motivate the farmers to come back to the agriculture. You can concentrate in the agriculture. So the formal agriculture you can make it one. Don't use for the fertilizers. You can avoid for the fertilizers to all those things. Because after the meeting, just I met one farm agriculture. Just ask what is happening. Just you also tested any agriculture. Just you tested for the. Just to take an. I am not against of the urea company or something else. Just the practical orient. If you want, you can test it for them. Just to take in a urea. Just put it in a earthworm, and the spot is earthworm. Life will be over. Because that much effect will be there. That only we are taken for the. Even some of the pesticides, their placement of in the things. What happening? So that much, because everybody they put a kerchief and they had to make it up for the spray for the pesticides. So that poisons your intake. So maximum you should avoid for all those things. At least you can promote our country to come up in the only through the way of the natural farming for the world. So that only in the I salute for the Pradhama Modi, because of the concept that reaches to everywhere, and he can make it up the right way, bring in the right way to the direction promoting of India. Then get a good night's sleep. So definitely, because sleep is an important. Without sleep, we cannot do it. Because once we get a sleep, what happening? That all regeneration work will be taking place in our body. So the regenerating or recharge, repairing, whatever it may be, that making. So the peaceful mind. So once you are getting a peaceful mind, so automatically you have to make it up that tomorrow you can wake up earlier and you can make it all in the same manner. Suppose you are not get a sleep, proper sleep, just to think it over. Some of the time you have some work, so you are not get a proper sleep. Definitely next day you are not perform any type of activity. So you can keep concentrating on the much more for the during the sleep. Nothing else. You have to regularly, if you are doing some physical exercise or some yogic exercise, definitely you can get a very good sleep on that aspects. So get enough sleep. Be sure, stick on your regular sleep pattern, get enough sleep normally. So that also, whatever it may be, the regular pattern should be maintained for them. Sometimes, because some emergency, leave it. But most of the people say, no, today I'm going to sleep 10 o'clock, tomorrow I will sleep 11 o'clock, day after tomorrow I will sleep 9 o'clock. Don't make it up. At least you can maintain some timing on the concepts. So you can plan. Today it's we make a plan, your life plan. So you can follow the things. Definitely something will be improvement in your lifestyle. Something will be improvement. Your efficiency will be increases. Because once we are maintaining the lifestyle, our body should adapt it for the body. So automatically, if you once adapted what happening, your efficiency automatically increases. You have the more confidence. Okay, this time the confidence will be getting from them. Schedule a normal bedtime, wake up time during the week. This will help you sleep better and wake up feeling more refreshed. Normally, I told them no. So whenever if you are doing type of activities, doing type of the sleep and so you can maintain the timing. If you maintain the timing, definitely you can get a very good freshen up your mind. And because our body, because already we are planned. So your mind having the setup of okay, 10 o'clock we are sleeping, morning 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock we wake up. Something you are planned. So once you are planned, that mind are set up and they have to do the activity formally. Normally, even if your normal lifestyle you taken for the run, if you are planned and you have to work, so definitely you can finish the particular work. If you're not planned, if you're doing it, not able to make it of the proper manner. The same way also, your sleep also, that is a making a play major role. Once if you have very good sleep, and automatically the next day, your mind will be free, your body will be relaxed, and everything regenerating of our cells. So your perfection will be making place. Getting a food like 7 to 9 hours. Normally, the scientists they are saying 7 to 9 hours for adults. That also, I'm not particular about that. So that also depends upon the individual. Because I have my capacity, I have the 6 hours sleep enough. So enough for the run. Once I have a 6 hours sleep, regularly I have a 6 hours sleep. After that, I am brisk level. So that's okay for the run. So normally they are telling the 7 to 9 hours we are making. So automatically your all systems will be making a proper rest and they are promoting that your lifestyle in your life. So already again the same thing. They establish a good routine. Try to stick to a consistent sleep routine. So once already I told that once you are making a sleep routine, so automatically that mentality. For example, you are having the 10 o'clock your class. You are starting from a house 9 o'clock. That is your routine work. Automatically 9 o'clock come over. What happening? So your mind to making a movement. Oh, this is a time for you. You can go for it. So that mentality you can develop faster. The same bed and wake up time each day, because that is a maximum you have to maintain the same timing. Okay. The same sequence of activities in the lead up to bed each night. Then normally certain things should not be followed and certain things we follow, then you can get a very good sleep on your life. So normally moderate exercise is not advisable for the person because before 2 hours, 1 hour or 2 hours, that also depends upon the individual. When if you are going for a bed before 1 hour or 2 hours, don't use any type of moderate exercises. Because if you make it up, already we know that muscles, they wanted to rest. Without rest, immediately go to bed means that disturbs your leg. Because normally what happens, whenever you're doing any type of workload, the more amount of blood passes towards the particular working muscles. Once you are working muscle, because when if you have a rest, the blood supplies all the internal organs. They wanted to regenerating. So if you not make it up, so definitely it spoils your life. Then computer games, definitely, because my own experiences, because previous I told when I'm a student. So what happening? So when a free time, no, we can play the cards. Once we play the cards, so on the night, no, so all that is spared, everything's come out of the mind. So that distracting your concept. Same thing will happen when you are in a computer games. You are playing a computer games. Just anybody they play the computer games. Before the bed, just ask them to that also making a placement to you. Because once if you want to sleep, you have the peaceful sleep. Nothing happened to your mind. Everything concentrating on all those things. That means then TV and social media nowadays, because a lot of things already I told that every technology given a very good essential part are the efficient, because due to the technology we learn a lot of things, but at the same time distraction also is there, especially the TV and social media. Lot of nonsense things will be there. Only what's enough essential for you, what is essential message for you, that only you can go after for the point. Apart from that, so because the magnetic rays, the electromagnetic frequency rays, that's distracting your mind. Because normally in our body they have the aura, because energy field. If you're having the energy field, you are safe. But the electromagnetic frequency is distracting our energy field, and our energy was losing. That should not be avoidable. Maximum you can avoid for all those things. The consuming caffeine and sugary food and drink normally. So these should be avoidable before the bed, 1 or 2 hours before the bed. Then these are things that are advisable to make it a for things. Reading something that relaxes you. So reading something means don't study the crime novels, because that even the more thoughts, what are some jokes or something else, what relaxes your mind. Because every individual they have different mentalities. One thing for relaxes me, and another that thing is not supportive for the others. So which things relax to you, that type of reading you can read for the turn, so your mind will be relaxed. Listening to quiet music normally, that's the old songs. Normally our poor parents they are saying that old songs. Not nowadays, not that much songs are there. Some of them is there that comparatively. So the old songs, the quiet listening. So if you are listening the music, automatically it making the very peaceful of your mind. and meditation. Meditation is a very good technique. So anybody, if you are not get asleep, just you can practice the meditation in the right method. Practice in the right method. So definitely your mind will be relaxed because normally if you are having a meditation, so you have the deep breathe in, breathe out. So all the oxygenated will be the so everything is energized. All the cells are energized. Once you are energized, what happening? So we are feel relaxed and we have a very good sleep in your bed. Normally, what is the bedroom? Because normally in some of the houses we are seen only the bedroom is, that is the purpose of bedroom only. Not make it of anything in the bedroom. Because that distraction. Because once we are entering, because normally nowadays lot of news I have seen that some websites also. So each room they can make a plan. The coloring seems to the response of the particular thing, the vibrations. It come out the vibrations. Each color they have separate vibrations. That bedroom you can choose that color. Likewise, they are making it up like this. If it's the peaceful color, calmful. So not bright, not make it a bright. Light colors you can use for the front. So that is a more supportive for your sleeping. Then no devices. Normally nowadays what happening? Everybody, even myself also. Sometimes I am avoiding. Sometimes may not be avoidable. Mobile, where you have to keep it? Nearby our head. Is it right? Near in bed, always you keep on that. So that should be avoidable for the front. Because you have a capacity, for example, at least 10 to 4, you can switch off your mobile or you can make enough a mute of your mobile, keep somewhere else. Once if you keep somewhere else, that rays start distracted. So already I told that the all electromagnetic frequencies of your brain, because wherever the messages come over, it reaches to your brain only. So the brain is very essential part. If you are distracted, what happening? It cannot be take a decision of anything else. So that distract. Normally, in the junction, just I tell that the cell phone tower, wherever the place cell phone tower in the house, just you taken a survey. A lot of survey with that in the website. Just you go and search the Google. So those towers where they place in the building, children and old age people cannot survive in a peaceful manner. They have always disturbed their lives because the trace. That what we are doing, that keep in your head. What happening? That distract our brain. So that should be avoidable. And also, especially the main thing, that's the temperature, because some of them, we just enter in the say that coolingness, that's too much cool. That also should be avoidable for the minimize. What is the maximum minimize quality you can use for that? Don't make it too much of cooling should not be. The cooling is only supportive for your body. Don't addict your body, because some of them that cooling only that's addict to them. That should be avoidable. That minimize you can use for the front. That's a very good for things. So normally I told our body having the bioenergy. So the bioenergy means our body having the own energy field, because everybody knows the chakras, 7 chakras. So all the chakras, they're creating the energy in our body. Normally, if your bioenergy will be right, so you are perfection on all those things. If you are any lack of bioenergy or any disturbance of your energy, so automatically lost. Normally, if you are using the mobile phone, for example, because everybody uses all the electromagnetic frequencies, that distracting our bioenergy. So due to the reason, our efficiency reduces. Because for example, our 4 parents are living the long life. Why we cannot? First one is that agriculture part of you, because intake, you are taken only for chemical. Then apart from that, you are using all the electromagnetic frequencies. That also spoils our energy. If you are not having the energy, automatically, already I told that the cells are unhealthy. So automatically our body are unhealthy. Our human body is nothing but energy made up of trillion of cells, because all the cells are producing the energy. If you are using the electromagnetic higher, so automatically that should be distract our cells. So automatically the cells efficiency be lost. So automatically our performance also going to lose. Human body field. Normally in our body there is a human nature. There is a God gifted to us. Our body has their own capacity. What are the things if you are making any things happen in our body, that's be rectified. In olden days, what they are doing, nothing they are doing. But only thing is you have the proper things, so all the chakras they energize themselves and they had to keep it on all those things. But nowadays, everything we are away from the nature, because once you are living nature, so automatically what happening? We are lifestyle being. If you are away from the nature, so it should be distracted. So normally nowadays, just to think it over, especially in the major metropolitan cities, you are seeing that the oxygen inhaling center, because we are lack of oxygen. What is the reason behind? We can cut off all the trees. Normally, in the olden days, they are telling every house you can make it up with some trees in and around of your house. What is the purpose? Because we are inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. What is the tree's nature? They had the inhaling of a carbon dioxide and exhale of oxygen. So that's equalizing. But nowadays, the lack of trees, so automatically making. So that also we can promote. At least hereafter we can promote. We can make it as something else, some trees placement in your house life, so that we support your oxygenating systems. Normally, this is the energy chakras. So how the diseases become out? Normally, that energy chakras is there, nothing will be happen to your body. If energy chakras are distracted, so automatically all the diseases arises to you. So normally, due to the energy chakras only, our body information, because one chakra support to the other chakra support to the other. So the interlinking of all the chakras. So once you are activating the chakras, so automatically what happening? You are energized. But if you are using, because in the current scenario, without cell, without computer, without TV tower, we cannot live. So with all those things, we can live for the run. But at the same time, you have to utilize much more things, concentrating on some yogic exercise. Definitely, you can free from all those things. So causes of imbalance in our body. That is the first one is the lack of energy. How the lack of energy? Already I told that, because we are not getting a proper food. Then energy disruption in the body. Even because before that there is nothing will happen. They have very good food, natural food they are getting, but nowadays we are not getting everything is fertilizers. So already we have a lack of energy. Then disruption. What is the disturb? Because all the electromagnetic frequencies, they're disturbing your energy. Because, for example, I am having a more strength. I can fight anything come out. I can fight for the term. How the corona will be happening? So corona, it reaches the 100% of people's population. But those who have the more immunity power, that not distracting. That come when they come out, when they go out, nobody knows. But at the same time, those who are weak in the immunity power, so automatically they are suffer. The same thing happened in our body also. If your body having the more energy, so automatically what happening? You can face anything else. So if your energy disturbs in the body, so already my energy is lost. So again, the distraction will be taken place of some environments. What happening? So that was it. Then interferences from e-smoke. Definitely, the electronic smoke, all type of electronic that's leads. That is a major common, because there is no other way. Now they are going to introduce for the 5G. So once if you come over, they are increase their power, increase everything, because they wanted to promote their side, but that distract us. But we cannot oppose for the truth. Based on that, how to live. In America, now they can find out for some other material how to prevent for the things. Because once we want to do 5G, we can get that material also, you can get it. That only you can survive for them. These things will happen. So whatever it may be, you think it over. Anything you are doing, anything else, because any changes happen in our life, there is definitely some positive aspect there, some negative aspects there. How to prevent the negative aspect? So I insist, everybody, you have to go for that regular yogic practices or regular physical exercise. If you are doing, definitely your aura will be extended. Once you have your aura will be extended. Nothing. For example, I am doing regularly. For example, I'm not regularly doing yoga exercise, even though I am informing you. If I am doing regular yoga, for example, my aura will be extended. So only the positive vibration only enter to my inside. For example, any saint come out to your place. Automatically, if anybody come over, everybody go and meet them. Before that, what we have a lot of grievances. So near about 10 to 15 grievances we have it. Just when you meet the saint, we can get it from him. But once reaches nearer him, what happening? Your mind will be zero. That is called as a zero energy. So if your aura will be extended, those who are entering that, only the positive aspect will enter, the negative should not be entered. The same way, if you are regularly practice the yoga, so that electromagnetic frequencies should not affect your body. only you are receiving the messages. That way it making of things. That is a science. That is a pure science, not for a magic or something else. That is a pure science. It will making. If you are doing regular practices, so I in this junction I can inform to I request to everybody else. You have to do perfectly for the yoga or physical exercise, and you can educate them to society, all the society, because we want to promote ourselves. When we are living in a life, well-being, I am well-being, I nearby well-being, in and surrounding well-being. Because in the time of Corona, everybody what they think out, this is in China only, not in India. Then it come out that this is Delhi only, not in Tamil Nadu. Then Tamil Nadu come out, this is Chennai only, not in the. But when you come out near, then you will feel peace. So our society will be clear. So we can promote everybody to make practices for physical exercise or yoga. Then we can promote our society in a higher level. This is a thanks for the opportunity given to me. That any clarification is there, anything is discussed for.
Thank you, sir. The participants can post your questions in the chat box.
Sir, sir,
Tell madam.
Sugandhara is asking, could you suggest some passive exercise for old age?
Old age, nothing else. Just to make raise the hand, some exercise, some flexible exercise you can do it for the dog. Don't make it just ask them to make a walk, whatever possibility, because that the pressure is we can make it how much possible they have to walk. For example, if you're 10 steps, they are able to do it. Ask them to do it for the dog. Don't make pressure to make 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers. What is the possibility? They can ask them to do it. Then regularly, if you are doing, definitely the performance will be increases. Something you have to do it. Or I already told the Srinivasan sir, observing the classes, they make raise the hand like this. So something you have to ask them to do. What is the maximum possibility they have to do it for them.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Next, how to overcome the laziness of practicing yoga, sir?
Oh, 1 second, madam.
How to overcome the laziness of practicing yoga?
Laziness, that is the only thing is you can motivate for them or counseling for them. I already don't know, because whenever I meet the peoples, whenever I meet any speech in the conference or anywhere else, I insist to all the peoples. Even whenever I attend any school functions, I told all the teachers, you have to do regularly, you have to go for a physical exercise or yoga practice. But nobody they are made of that one. But really, after the Corona, everybody now they are awareness come over there, and everybody they have to try to do it something else in the exercises. So automatically, because once we are motivated in this junction, because I am not a politician, that Kalaignar always speaks in that meeting. Because whenever Kalaignar deliver the lecture, no, so everybody they come over there. But what he done, lot of people you have come over there, but you are not voting me. But when if you come a time some more, you can vote for me. The same thing. If you write things, right concept, you can pass it to the society. Those who are want, they can catch it. So you can tell all those things to your society. You write things. If you are thinking that is the right thing, you can inform the society. Those who are want, they catch and they can benefit it further. Yeah, someone there asked the question, the laughing is very good exercise. Yeah, definitely, because that all the cells are activated. Even the crying also, one of crying therapy is there, that also is there. Because whatever if you are doing activity that's involving to the given an exercise for the muscles, that's benefited for you. Any questions, madam?
Sir?
Any
Sir,
questions?
next, sir. Sir. What is the step practicing yoga? Sir.
What is that?
Steps for practicing yoga.
Steps. You can adapt any one group or attend any one classes. Then you can have an idea, because we cannot say all those things in a class.
Yes, sir. Choose the right master, sir.
Choose the right master. Yeah, for guru. Guru. You keep on some guru and you can practice for the guru.
Next, sir, how to overcome and manage the pollute and pesticides?
Yeah, that because we are not blaming for the agriculture farmers also, because the government given a subsidy. Government given a subsidy, they are used for that. But we can educate them. We can educate them and we can promote them. Because normally some guidance is given to them. Because already I am doing certain things too. I visit some villages and I meet the farmers and I educate them, and we can make a use of them, how to make it up, everything. So some way you can motivate the student, because normally nowadays, because I think day before yesterday I seen on magazine, the organic farming nowadays increases. That awareness created, but definitely within 2030 they are making near about 1.36 million. They come out for the organic farming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Next question, sir.
Tell me.
What is the best sleeping hours in Ketra?
That's because we cannot say best sleeping hours, because for example, depends upon your nature of work. Because some of them they have the night work. They are having the night time. They are having the work. They come and sleep. So based on everything is based on your body condition. Because for example, for my 10 to 6 is a convenient time for me. That is not suitable for others. So based on, you can analyze further, because once you think it over, how much workload you are having, where is the timing, what are the stress you are having, workload will be having, everything you can make it up. When you are asleep, for example, today I am asleep 10 to 6, tomorrow I will be comfortable. So that is a good time for you. Sometimes I have some workload workload heavy. So I can sleep earlier. That also having some time. Because whenever you are asleep, whenever you come out, because your body is the best judgment for you. Once you feel tired, some of them are, 10 o'clock only sleep. I get a tired for 9:30 because today I have more work. So 9:30 I get the tiredness in my body. My cells are telling, my cells are intimating, I am getting tired, so wicked. So you can take rest. The best monitor is your body. Normally in yoga, what we are saying, whenever you do yoga, you can observe your body. The same thing in your lifestyle also, you can observe. Even for example, I told that any food content is there. Something will be tasty, but once you are taken, this is enough for me. Your body says, your mind says, but your mind what says? No, it's a tasty. Still you take more. Same thing. Everything you can analyze your body. It given a symptoms to you based on the thing follow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Next question, sir. How to get positive energy?
Yeah, first you think positive, because normally, for example, even if you take 2 doctors in your city, one doctor is correctly they given for all the medicine and everything, and another doctor simply they given some vitamin tablets, but that doctor is successful. Second doctor is successful, because once they are the patients approach them now, they think, oh, this doctor very good doctor. If you think it over, it's that the medicine will be reactive. So your thought will react. The same way, if you are doing positive energy, if you want a positive energy, you think first positive. If you think positive, everything is positive on your life.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yoga or gym, which one is better? The same question, which is useful to people. Which one is better? They want to.
So, especially both are better, because you will never imagine. In the junction, I want to tell our yoga director, Venkadajalapati. First time I ask you, because he is a karate master. Regularly he is in the gym. I also visit the gym, but I am not using regularly for yoga because whenever time permits, I am doing yoga. But he is doing regularly yoga because our body should adapt it. Your body should adapt it based on the things there. But gym, normally there are all the major muscles that we activate, strengthening. But when if you are doing the yoga, so inner muscles they are activating, are energized. So only simple concept. So your what is the body needed by your body? Based on that you can make it up. Both are good for you. Even some of them normally they are asking the question, sir, whether if you are using the physical education yoga simultaneously. Yeah, why not? Why not? But only thing is, if you're practicing the yoga after that, if you go for a physical exercise, physical activity, you have to do for the specific exercise. Then you have to go for the things. The same way, if you are doing for a physical activity, after that, if you want to do yoga, first you can analyze or you can make it a control of your breath rate. Your heart rate become normal. After that, you can go for a simple concept.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. What we do when we have ulcer problem?
So,
Sir, ulcer.
ulcer problem. Okay, because just you consult the doctor because there is a quite normal. Normally, if you intake of more water, that is a very good medicine for the brain. Apart from that, you have to energize yourself. Meditation. When if you are doing the meditation, because normally most of the people what they are doing, even in physical activity as well as the yoga also, they are regularly doing the activities, but they are not take of a intake of water. Water is the best source. Water therapy is there. If you are regularly using the water, 99% of wastage will be eliminated. 99% of wastage will be eliminated. So once the wastage are eliminated from your body, so automatically what happening? You keep fit enough yourself. Apart from the junction, I want to sell something else. Normally in our body, naturally they have a capacity to eliminating all the wastage through urine, motion, and which one? Next one. Anyone? Sweating. Is it right? These three maximum that should be eliminating our wastage. But nowadays, because that is only available in the market, because in olden days, what they are doing, they are not using the soap. Some powders in the homemade powders they are using for. Nowadays, we are using the soap. What happening? Everything they have the paraffin and sulfate. Just anybody else, just after the take bath, just you can rub it to your skin surface. Some white patches are there. That white patches are what happening? That close all the sweating holes. So sweating not come out. So all the wastage in your body. So that think it over. So everything, because whenever you have purchased anything in the market, just to go through and you can analyze after that you can use further. Because before that I am also using like this. Nowadays it will be change over further. For example, even if you are having a cold, especially in the pandemic situation, the cold is a very good symptom for the immune. For example, regenerating of the yourselves. But what we are doing, immediately we visit the doctor and take a tablet and that should be suppressed. But at the same time, if you have taken some herbals, for example, in your house, some tulasi or some other herbals are there, just you taken up, but it will be what happening, it will be making the aggregated, it will increase the hold and it will be totally collapsed. That you have to use. A lot of things will be there in our India because India is a very big country. Apart from the lot of science they are living in that. But nowadays, due to the scientific things, we are facing a lot of problems. Just to go through it, even just to go through Google, you search for a lot of things will be there. So that is a way. Ulcer, you have to maintain your health. The proper timing of food intake. If you are not take a proper time, that is the leads to the ulcer. So you make a proper timing. You can practice the yoga. And you can take water frequently, and what the doctor prescribes, that medicine is also taken for the initial stage.
Thank you, sir. One more question, sir. Explain about bioenergy in connection with yoga and meditation. Bioenergy in connection with yoga and meditation.
Yeah, definitely, because the energy field, because normally, when if you are intake of food content, that also we get an energy. Because normally the chakras, that's the only energy field in our body. If you are activate the chakras, you are concentrating on the meditation and you can energize the chakras. So automatically your energy field was extended. Your energy field was extended.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Somebody they are given, can you just some tips for a digestion problem?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So digestion is nothing but because very simple matter. If, for example, what the food items accepted to your body, you take that only. For example, just for an example I given, even some of the time we are taken for brota, especially for brota. Nowadays that is a famous for everywhere. They're not digested. They're not digested. Even though your tongue that's motivating to take in the things. I already told that your body is a very good symptoms given to you. But you are analyze your body, you are accepted your body what the given signaling, you are accepting, you are peaceful. Sometimes I feel, okay, for example, I taken a 4 idlis, but chutney, chambar, light, a lot of things is there. I can take much more idlis, 2 more idlis. So that is a digestive problem. So only limited food content if you are taken, that is a good. And also, always you have to use for the proper water.
Okay, sir. Shall we wind up the session, sir, with your permission?
Okay, madam. Okay. Thank you all to come over here and given opportunity, listen, you can observe all the things. Thank you for all those things.
Sir, my formal vote of thanks, sir.
Okay, madam.
Thank you, sir.
The received from the participant shows that this lecture was very useful, very informative, excellent session. Share the PowerPoint like this we have received, sir. That shows that your lecture was well received by the participants. Now, on behalf of IQAC, I would like to thank you for sparing your valuable time and highlighting us about the practical life lessons for physical well-being. That is like starting from sitting in right posture to avoid lifts, to walk every day 20 minutes, to stretch our hands and legs, importance of routine work to avoid stress, exercise and its benefits, eating well and sleeping well, and to how to use the mobile phone safely, especially during the pandemic period. Thank you, sir, for your valuable presence and sharing your expertise. On behalf of IQAC, a heartfelt thanks to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sir, Dean sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can I leave, madam?
Yes, sir. You can leave, sir. You can leave, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, Professor Ilangon, sir, shall we start the program, sir?
Audible? Hello?
Sir, shall we start the program now, sir?
Okay. Is it audible?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to everyone present here. On behalf of the IQAC-ANNAMALAI University, a warm welcome to one and all for the third day, 6th session of 1 week short-term course on yoga, the tool for harmonizing self and the world. So today is the chief guest, Professor R. Ilangovan sir with us. I wanted to introduce with the august presence, Professor Dr. Ilangovan sir. His educational qualifications are MSc Yoga, MA Psychology, MA History, MPA, MPhil, PhD, DS5M, NS, NIS. He is the professor and head, Faculty of Yogic Sciences and Therapy, Meenakshi Academy of Higher Education and Research, deemed to be university at Chennai. He is having more than 38 years of teaching experience in schools, colleges, and universities in the field of yoga and physical education, having more than 32 years of experience in colleges and universities, yoga and physical education, having more than 15 years experience in professor grade in universities alone, yoga and physical education, having 32 years of administrative experience alone in the field of yoga and physical education, having more than 17 years experience in research alone, and a senior social scientist approved by ICSSR New Delhi. He has served as the member of BC's convener committee, registrar in charge, finance officer in charge, controller of examination in charge, director in charge of distance education, and member syndicate twice, finance committee twice, Senate governing board steering committee, coordinator of NAC, TNPSU Principal SSPE. And he is the first yoga professor appointed officially in the history of Tamil Nadu government universities. He is the first yoga professor appointed in the history of deemed universities of Tamil Nadu, Mahar, Chennai. He is the question setter for a NET exam, UGC in yoga, New Delhi, and member review committee on textbooks, SCRT, Chennai. He has acted as a member of jury in the National Yoga Olympiad 4 times. He has organized NCRT and Ayush, Delhi. Member of the Assessment of Yoga Certificate Board, Ministry of Ayush, New Delhi. Member Technical Committee, HSSC, Ministry of Skill and Development, Entrepreneurship, Central Government. Acted as an inspecting visiting team member, National Council for Teacher Education, that is NCTE, New Delhi. UGC Expert Committee member, an advisory committee member of Dean, an invited life member of Indian Yoga Association, New Delhi, senior vice president of Tamil Nadu Yogasanas, then advisor and former vice president. Then he has visited China twice and Hong Kong for academic purposes. He is the chairman and member, various board of studies member, academic councils and degree awards committee at various colleges. He has produced 42 PhDs and guided more than 130 MPhil and 290 PG holders. He has authorized 6 books, more than 30 lesson materials for schools and distance education yoga programs. Then he has done more than 45 programs in All India radio and television channels, presented more than 250 papers in a number of national and international conferences, including co-authorship, yoga and physical education field. Produced the first PhD at TNPSU, Bharatiyar University and Karpagam University in the field of yoga, and I give more than 150 times guest speeches, special addresses, and invited lectures as a resource person and chairperson, etc. So he has honored with many awards and won many international awards in Lions Club International. So such a proficient, highly capable, and dexterous, skilled person in not only in the field of sports sciences, but also in the field of yogic sciences. On behalf of the IQAC-ANNAMALAI University, we invite you, sir, for this session, and his topic is alleviating suffering, therapeutic values of yoga. Send over to Professor Ilangovan, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good evening to one and all. Hari Om. It gives me immense pleasure to be with you at this August gathering. I express my sincere thanks to Annamalai University, particularly Internal Quality Assurance Cell, for having organized this 1-week virtual multidisciplinary short-term course on yoga, the tool for harmonizing the self and the world. I express once again my sincere thanks to the Vice Chancellor, Annamalai University, the Registrar in charge, Director, IQAC, Annamalai University, Aryude Nambi sir, a great organizer on par excellence. And also I express my sincere thanks to the coordinators of IQAC, Professor S. Ramesh Kumar, Dr. T. Selvamuthu Kumaran, Deputy Director IQAC Dr. S. Karthik Kumar, Deputy Director IQAC Dr. K. Sanjeevi, and Deputy Director IQAC Mr. K. Jayaprakash, and yet another young and energetic organizer and administrator. He is Jayaprakash. And my sincere thanks again goes to the organizing secretaries, Dr. K. Venkatajalabadi, Assistant Professor and Director in charge, Center for Yoga Studies, an exponent in yoga in global relevance. And also my thanks to Dr. V. Sushila, the Assistant Professor, and also an excellent yogini, a born yogini, and Dr. K. Sai Leela, Assistant Professor. For the past 1 month, I am seeing her in organizing these IQAC meetings, a tireless and outstanding personality, Dr. K. Sai Leela. And also my sincere thanks goes to Dr. Rukmani and also Dr. Shanti for having given this opportunity. So let me share something about the concepts of alleviating sufferings, therapeutic values of yoga. So let us discuss something regarding this point. The purpose of life is to lead a happy life, as you know. When can we feel happy? If our actions and thoughts are good. If we are free from vasana, vairagya, and ashimta. Vasana means desire. Vairagya means attachment. Asmita means egoism. And also, if we serve the people, if we have service-mindedness and if we do the service for the benefit of the public, for the society, we can have happiness. And it is for your kind information that our India is 139th rank in the happiest country in the world. We are 139th place. So 138 countries ours. That's what we could understand. Here we are having, so we can understand why we are not having happiness, because we are 139th rank. The major reasons are physical inactivity, improper diet, and lack of sleep. These are all the three major reasons for all our sufferings. You can understand the statistical data, 66.5% they have low physical activity in India. That means around 33.5% only they are doing some form of physical activity. And if you go through that dietary pattern, only 55% are low in taking good dietary pattern. Improper diet, 55%. Only 45% they are having some normal dietary patterns. And the lack of sleep, you can understand. 93% Indians have sleeping problems. This lack of sleep, it is the fourth worrying cause in the world. Non-communicable disease. Fourth place it occupies. And 87% they say it is because of health reasons. They are ill health. That's why they are not having proper sleep. And 7 crore in India, they are having severe sleeping problems. Only 2% they are going and discussing with doctors. So these are all some of the concepts that we could understand. So we are more on physical inactivity, improper diet, and lack of sleep. These are all the major reasons for all kinds of sufferings. It is that yoga is a way of life and main remedy for all kinds of sufferings, all kinds of problems, all kinds of difficulties, miseries, agony, distress. There yoga plays a very major role. Yoga provides holistic approach to health and well-being. That's what the United Nations organization tells. When our Prime Minister Narendra Modi introduced yoga in that assembly, he introduced yoga in 2 areas. One is related to health education, health concept, and another one is related to yoga therapy. These are all the 2 areas that he introduced yoga among the whole world. That means he expressed that yoga could do well in those 2 areas. And also when he was visiting the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he expressed his feelings on yoga among the public in America. Yoga should bring in change in our lifestyle and create awareness in us in US, and it can help fighting against climatic changes. So we, the yogic people, I could understand that you are from various parts of India. We have to feel proud that we belong to this yoga field. Out of 254 countries, 200 countries embrace yoga. Among that 800 crore people living in the world, 230 crore people are doing yogic practices. 50 years back, if you go through the history, only a few women, they used to do yoga 50 years back. Only a few. Many of the countries, the women, they didn't know what is yoga. But now the trend has been changed. Among the yogic practitioners, 72% are female. That is the appreciable points that we have to understand. 72% of yogic practitioners are women. So these are all the things that you have to come across. And as far as yoga is concerned, we have a bright future. The yogic scholars and the students, I wish to tell, as because even after this COVID pandemic period, we come across a good report on yogic practices. In the past 3 years, 150% increase that we could come across in the world. 150 times, 100. Understand. That means more they embrace yoga. And the trainers, they are earning an hour. I'm telling per class, an hour. If they take yoga classes, they are earning from rupees 350 to 90,000 rupees. 90,000 per hour they are earning. In US alone, it is rupees 2,000 per hour. 2,000 rupees per hour they are earning. So, but the alarming fact is in India, only 11.8% they are doing yogic practices. Only 11.8%. It means we are having, and we have to cover more in India. That's what we could understand. So 11.8% among 140 crore that we have to understand. That is the scenario. So it is very much appreciable that we have to concentrate more on these yogic concepts. So there are so many problems because my topic is related to sufferings. The sufferings may be health, finances, relationships, emotions, and it leads to physical, neurosis, psychosis, and personality disorders. According to Tirumular, there are 4,448 diseases are there. According to American Health Association, there are 7,000 diseases are there. According to World Health Organization, it is 55,000 injuries, diseases, and causes of death available. That is the trend that we have to understand. If we go through the recent health status of India, 89% of Indians are stressed. 2 out of 3 deaths in India due to non-communicable diseases. 97% diet fails what we are taking. Only 3% diet are appreciable diets, healthy diets. Among the 3%, we are selecting and having as a 83% problems are because of food only. 27 crore Indians are smokers. 712 Indians die every day due to alcohol. 30% Indians have hypertension. 7.8 crore Indians are affected by diabetics. 46% obese increased in the last 10 years. 40% of the heart failure cases are Indians in the world. 25% increases in eye diseases during COVID-19 pandemic. That is third wave. If you go through today's newspaper, we could understand in the third wave, it is going on. 25% increased in eye diseases. That's why it is an alarming fact. This figure we couldn't get in the first and second wave. Third wave only we are getting these problems. And if you go through the ancient literature, yogic literature, Yajnavalki lived during Upanishad periods, and Tirumular, they are citing so many references on eye diseases. And 22 Indian cities out of 30 world cities are highly polluted. 28.7% of Indians suffering from knee pain. 300% increased in cancer in 2018. 85% Indians lead a sedentary life. 19.73 crore, that is 1 in 7 Indians, are suffering with mental problems. 35% increased during the COVID-19 pandemic period. India's average particulate matter concentration 7 times high, according to that World Health Organization limits in pollution. China 5-fold high. Delhi people lose 9.7 years of life due to pollution. At the outset, we could come across only 9 crore Indians out of 140 are health conscious. Again, Indian women's health life expectancy is the lowest, just over 60 years among Southeastern Asian countries. We are the lowest. And if you go through today's newspaper, we could understand this data. Improper diet leads to 1.1 crore deaths globally and 25.5 crore disability adjusted life years annually. It is a global report. So these are all the alarming and apprehensive facts very much related to India. Yogis and yoginis, we have a great role in promoting our health status, not only health status, total well-being of Indians. That responsibility is with us. So we have very good, prosperous role in yoga to the people of India. So previously, a few years back, if you come across whether you are having fitness or not, we used to tell endurance, flexibility, speed, strength, like that and all, agility, like that and all. Now they are bothering about metabolic fitness. Metabolic fitness means blood glucose level should be around 85 mg per deciliter. Blood pressure should be around 115/76 mm. Body mass index, they are counting total cholesterol, HDL, LDL, triglycerides, and including pulse rate. These are all the major components that we could have to undergo in assessing health. That is very particularly for metabolic fitness. Metabolic fitness, now you can understand how much you are fit metabolically. That's what in London, that is in England, these metabolic fitness concepts are very popular. And also we could come across, there are so many causes for diseases. According to Yoga Vasishta, wrong connection between mind and senses, mind is nothing but, as you know very well, collection of thoughts. Second point, according to Yoga Vashishta, egoistic behavior. Second reason. Then the next reason will be accidents like that. According to yogic literature, there are three major causes of diseases: Adi Baudhika, Adi Daivika, Atyatmika. That is imbalances in Panchabhutas, genetic and allergic diseases, self-inflicted inflicted diseases. When we come across the factors of affecting health, there are two major areas. That is, one is genetic and environmental. 25% all the problems are because of genetic. And mostly these genetic problems are related to psychosis. Psychosis in the sense it includes schizophrenia, autism, mentally challenged, that is mentally retardedness, bipolar disorders, and dementia. These are all major causes related to genetic. These are all the major diseases related to genetic. And environmental, that is the major portion, 75%. So already I told you 2 out of 3 deaths because of non-communicable diseases. So merely we are neglecting the proper way of life that we could understand here. Pollution, stress, junk food, and smoking. You will become wonder if you see the cancer patients. According to the statistical data, only 5% are genetic. Remaining 25% are because of these environmental problems. Now we can understand how much the environmental pollutions and the environmental awareness and safetyness is important. So these are all the major causes that we could come across. And also we are seeing some other causes, that is accumulation of toxins. It is for your kind information. There is a possibility of getting 21 types of toxins in our body. 21 types of toxins can get gathered in our body. Hormonal imbalances. Now you can understand yoga means it is balance. Yoga, the meaning of yoga is balance. Now easily we can come across these hormonal imbalances. Imbalances in electrical activity. Electrical activity is neurotransmission. That's what we can come across. And neurohormonal imbalances, improper activation. Also, congestion and accumulation of heavy prana, imbalance of antioxidants, improper of biorhythm, lack of excess protein, blockages of energy, and ignorance, avidya. These are all other major causes of all the problems. Now let us see. So far what we have seen, a few introductory part of yoga, and also what are all the health issues among the Indians, and what are all the causes of these problems. So we ought to get rid of these problems. Yoga plays a very vital and majestic role in overcoming all the problems, all the difficulties. So let us see scientifically what are all some of the plus points of yogic practices. You can come across so many plus points here. Yogic practices produce endorphins, osteocalcin, estrogen, apelin, relaxin, serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine, oxytocin, GABA. These are all the hormones being secreted when you do yogic practices. That is the plus point. Why we are giving that much importance to hormone secretions here means the whole physiological and psychological life is much relied on these proper segregation of hormones. That's why we are giving that much importance here. The yoga fulfills. That's why it is still very popular even after 5,000 years back, or it is 5,000 years old. Some they are telling 10,000 years old. Some they are telling 15,000 years old. So you might have known about mitochondria. That is the part available in cells. There the energy produces according to scientific facts. As far as yoga is concerned, our energy is Sahasrara chakra. That's what we could understand. It is nothing but cerebrum. You might have known the brain part, cerebrum, where the energy stores. What the Western yogis are telling, that is Sahasrara chakra is nothing but the part of the brain of cerebrum. And nutrition plus oxygen, adenosine tripo is the energy. It is being currency of digestion to immunity. That's what we could understand. And lesser ATP leads to diseases. And very particularly, I want to bring it to your mind why we are adorning yoga. There we are having so many areas: genes, proteins, hormones, new blood vessels, cellular health. These are all the ways to accelerate our way of life. For example, as you know very well, there are 1 lakh genes. Out of that, 30,000 genes are active. The same thing for proteins also. Let us take an example here. VHL is one of the important gene. If this VHL is not available in our body, there is a chance for getting cancer. If VHL is readily available, it will produce HIF1 alpha and ARND protein. That proteins, in turn, they produce hormones like erythropoietin. Erythropoietin is the hormone, in turn, increases and produces new blood vessels for the increase of blood flow. If erythropoietin hormone is properly segregated, means our blood vessels will be more, our blood flow will be more, our cellular health will be active, and we will have more energy. That is an example for cancer patients. Why they are getting cancer means lack of all these problems. If there is no cancer, if we are very healthy, means these are all the areas that they are working well in our body, in our life. The second important point is yoga perfects genes. In turn, it activates circadian rhythm, what we call biological clock. Yesterday also, the guest, he mentioned biological clock. In turn, there is a master clock in hypothalamus, that is suprachiasmatic nucleus. If it is active, our neurotransmission will be active. In turn, our hormones will be in a perfect shape. So blood vessels will get more activated and our cellular health will be good. And it is for your kind information, each and every cell has minor clock. The major clock is suprachiasmatic nucleus. These are all the areas will be perfected when you do yogic practices. That is the plus point of yoga. And we have to feel proud that we belong to yoga field. And also, if you do yogic practices, it increases T cells. The white blood cells become T cells in spleen and thymus gland that activates for promoting immunity power. That is the need of the hour. In the first wave, immunity power, many of them, they talked about immunity power. In the second wave, oxygen carrying capacity. So these are all the things that we have to remember. Relaxation, stretching exercises. If you do in the night before getting into sleep, there is a possibility for getting, you should not do a heavy workout. A few minutes of light exercise, very particularly Sashangasana, and the light stretching exercises, if you do, melatonin will get secreted and you will have very good biological clock, and also you will have very good sleep. That's what we have to come across these concepts. And I will show some of the slides. So when you do yogic practices, or if you feel that there is a problem emotionally, the brain parts connected with emotion is caudate nucleus and amygdala. You can see here, caudate nucleus and amygdala. These are all the two areas. If they are impure, if they are not in proper condition in the brain, there is a possibility of getting emotional instability. There, yoga helps a lot for you. And also, yogic practices promote neurogenesis. That is, the genesis means, neurogenesis means it is the process of maturing neurons. Heavy alcohol consumption, if a person is alcoholic person, definitely his neurogenesis will be affected. The stem, now you can see here, stem cell, then it becomes young neuron, then it gets into matured neuron. The matured neurons will be available only those who are healthy. So those who are having some diseases, these matured neurons you can't find out in their body. And another one important concept is, when you do yogic practices that enhance white matter integrity to avoid depression in the brain. You might have known gray matter and white matter. Now cells are being called as gray matter, and now fibers or tissues are known as white matter. The number one reason for ill health is depression. Depression is caused by low segregation of mood elevating hormones, particularly serotonin. So if the gray matter is not in active, not in perfect condition, its quality and functioning is not up to the mark, means then we will have so many problems. That includes your white matter in the brain also. Now we can see, if you have pain in the body or mind, the much related part of ACC, that is the place, now you can see the bluish area. That is the place that controls the whole brain in our, pain, active pain complaints in our body. When you do yogic practices, this anterior cingulate cortex will be perfected so that there won't be any pain in your body. Stress among the children shrinks amygdala volumes that affects their learning, memory, emotions in later life. That also you can see here. And also, you can see the dopamine hormone, that is mood elevating hormone, very much needed for our day-to-day life. Excess serotonin and dopamine, both are mood elevating hormones. If excess, if they are segregated, means that will lead to schizophrenia. Less dopamine segregation leads to Parkinson's disease. That's why the hormone segregation should be balanced. If it is high, means again you will be affected by some diseases. If it is low, means it is applicable for all kinds of hormones. If it is less, means there also you will get problems. That's what here what we call homeostasis, that is balance, 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 balance. Yoga plays a very vital role. And the lack of serotonin leads to stress and suicides that we could come across here. And also, there is a hormone called glutamate that segregates in amygdala. You can see the amygdala part. It is like a beans, like a red, light reddish shape you can see. So that leads to fear and schizophrenia. And here you can see the parts of brain such as striatum, anterior cingulate cortex are very much related to stress. And it is for your kind information, if you have children, it is your duty to make them to grow like a prince or princess. That's what we have to see to that. They should not feel any discomfort. Children experienced poverty, neglect, and physical abuse, they will have smaller hippocampus and amygdala. That hippocampus and amygdala will get shrinked. If it is so, then they will affect by stress and emotions. In future, in their later stage, their learning and memory will be affected, including emotional stability. The very earliest stages, as you know very well, after 8 years only, we have to have proper yogic practices. But it doesn't mean that they are not, that yogic practices are not available for early stages. From the born to death, we are having yogic practices. That is different matter. And yoga avoids less volume in the orbitofrontal cortex of the brain due to drug abuse. So that orbitofrontal cortex, if it is not in proper condition, then it will lead for taking drugs. That's what we could come across. This can be overcome by yogic practices. And the lack of interconnectivity of the neurons in the left hemisphere of the brain leads to autism. And less segregation of oxytocin. It is also an important hormone segregation. It will activate perfectly among women in particular, that lead to alcoholism and drug abuse, affects striatum in the brain too. A week back, if you go through the newspapers, there is an article that low segregation of oxytocin that affects our striatum in the brain. And there is a process called optogenetics. What do you mean by optogenetics? A technique that uses light to erase bad memory and to enhance good ones by controlling neuron activity. So yoga plays a very vital role in this problem, in this process of optogenetics. So what in the medical field, if they want to erase bad memories in the brain or mind, they will go for surgery. Whereas if you do yogic practices, this optogenetics will occur naturally. And the stress damages hippocampus that is meant for learning, memory, etc. Yoga avoids the damage. And also diminished number of neural connections, that is neurotransmissions in prefrontal cortex areas that lead to schizophrenia. Yogic practices avoid these diminution. To the pathways of the brain and all parts of the body to overcome depression and suicide. This process is known as bioenergetics. And here we could come across in the last 2 years, neuroplasticity like that. See, this neuroplasticity, as for your information, you have to understand the biological promotion of our body. Every week, our stomach changes. Every 3 months, most of the parts are being changed. And 98% of our body, except some cartilages and some pieces of bones, they are recycled annually. It is for your kind information. Every 10 minutes, our structure of the brain changes. the structure of the brain changes every 10 minutes. It has to come to its own place. There, the neuroplasticity plays a vital role. Neuroplasticity means nothing but rewiring and reorganizing process in gray and white matters in the brain. Yoga promotes natural neuroplasticity, thus saving lakhs and lakhs of rupees. And here again, you come across the yogic practices help to contract the gallbladder effectively for proper sleep-wake cycle, that is biological clock. It is very essential. This gallbladder's role is very essential for our biological clock. This contract gallbladder to release bile for digestion and for fat metabolism also. So this gallbladder plays a very vital role in our day-to-day life. There yoga helps. Again, you can come across another important point. Yogic practices promote the activities of cerebellum via basal ganglia. That is also one of the important part of the brain that is very much active, should be active for better movements, mood, emotions, and behavior. Now you can come across how much these, when you do yogic practices, automatically your basal ganglia will be perfected and you can get a divine life. And here you can see another area, that is telomeres. Shortening of the telomere length in the DNA is the prime reason for stress. Meditation is the #1 remedy for stress, according to Dr. Ornish, a famous American cardiologist. Now you can see in the picture, the left side, you can see the lengthy telomere. In the right side, it is shorter telomere. Now you can understand, if you have problems, in your health, if you have diseases in your body, definitely your telomeres will be shortened. It will be short. So it is our duty to make it a lengthy one so that we can avoid diseases. There you have to go for yogic practices. And now you can see here, many of them are going for artificial, that is, they are exchanging their blood vessels. Natural angiogenesis blood vessels you can get if you do yogic practices. They are talking much about stent or open surgery, and also blood vessels are being modified and the pathway are being modified. So we can avoid by doing yogic practices. Natural blood vessel will create in order to overcome the blockages in the blood vessels, particularly in the heart. And let us come to the major part here. So these are all some of the concepts that you can understand. And let us come to the main point, that is yoga therapy. So in yoga therapy, it is for your kind information, there are more than 5,000 systems of medicine in the world, like allopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha, homeopathy, like that. Among that 5,000 systems, yoga therapy is also one among them. In those days, Siddhas were taking control of overcoming the diseases. They were known as traditional Siddhas, Kaya Siddhas, and Rasavada Siddhas. Traditional Siddhas means they used to cure problems only through yogic practices, very particularly through pranayama practices. And the Kaya Siddhas, after some time, Kaya Siddhas, they became dominant. In that sense, they used yoga plus herbs. herbal medicine they used. They were known as Kaya Siddhas. Then after some time, the Rasavada Siddhas, they took center stage. That is, they used metals plus yogic practices. So traditional Siddhas, Kaya Siddhas and Rasavada Siddhas. So they tried to cure yogic practices, and they tried to cure the problems, the diseases changed. But anyhow, when Western medicine is not fulfilling our problems, many of them are telling, we turn into natural remedies. That is the thinking that we have nowadays, natural remedies. Therapy means, as you know very well, treatment of illness. Therapy may be, you can give by three ways: matter, energy, and human interaction. That is water, by water, by heat or cold, and by giving counseling, guidance and counseling. Three areas that you can have therapy. Healing force within himself is the philosophy of yoga therapy. Yoga is healing without surgery. That's what Krishnamacharya told. And yoga is like surgery without using surgical instruments. Again, Krishnamacharya. And according to Patanjali, yoga switches the wounds of life. At the outset, yoga therapy includes Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Vedic Yoga. And these concepts that you have to understand. And it is for your kind information, yoga therapy is preventive, management, and rehabilitative. Yoga therapy is holistic. It is not mere microscopic, but telescopic. Yoga therapy is energy, mind, body medicine. Yoga therapy is very simple, more scientific. There won't be much side effects, no side effects at all. Whether it will heal quick or in slow duration. Very less cost that we can understand by doing yogic therapy, and gives long-term benefits. These are all some of the benefits plus points of yoga therapy. So at the outset, we can understand that yoga therapy, yogic practices, yoga is a preventive science that you have to keep it in your mind. But there is no other go. We have to overcome the sufferings. Yoga evolved from ages. Might be a little bit different we can come across in Vedic period, Upanishad period, epic period, and also Buddhistic period, Britishers. Now we are having at this stage. So evolution is being taken place. So we ought to accept according to the need and nature of the society. Yoga therapy's job is not cure diseases. You have to understand mainly this point. But it removes the blockages in nadis and chakras, so that if we remove that nadis and chakras blockages, our body will get perfected. That is the concept. Yoga therapy harmonizes psychic and somatic problems. Yoga therapy assists. Somatic means it is nothing but physic. Yoga therapy assists in our body to accommodate the administration of drugs. That's what we have to understand. Little bit, let us go for the history of yoga therapy. It is originated thousands of years ago. It is as old as yoga itself. Many of them are telling, now only we are having yoga therapy concepts. No, it is as old as yoga itself. A few personalities we have to understand. That is Sir George Woodruff. Actually, he is, of course, he born in India, but he is a Britisher. And he was the judge in Calcutta High Court. And he wrote a number of books. He studied Sanskrit and he translated many books from Sanskrit to English, and he promoted yoga knowingly or unknowingly throughout the world. And his famous book is The Serpent Power, that is Kundalini, he talks about. So if the chakras are having no blockages, and we will attain our blissfulness. That's what he wrote many things about yoga therapy area. So he has many important roles he played. We can't forget Woodruff in modern times. And as far as Indians are concerned, Sri Yogendra Ji of the Yoga Institute, 1920s, you might have known, Yogendra's Yoga Institute is the first official yoga center in the world, not in India. He established in 1918. And he is also formulated during various problems. Next comes Swami Sivananda and Swami Kuvalayananda. He is having a good role. You might have known Swami Kuvalayananda. He was the first person to start yoga laboratory in the world by establishing at Kaivalya Dhamma. That is happened in 1924. And Shri Krishnamacharya also, B.K.S. Iyengar, T.K.V. Desikacharya, they are all played a very vital role in modern times related to yoga therapy. You should not forget the role of Dr. Dean Ornish. He belonged to US, very popular in 1970s and 1990s. He done his medicine in California University, and he worked there in California University. He worked as the professor of medicine, and his famous article, Reversing Heart Disease by Lifestyle Changes, he didn't operate or he didn't give anything at all, any medicine like that and all. Only by changing the lifestyle habits, he became very popular throughout the world during his time. His lifestyle changes include the dietary pattern, what we call lacto-vegetarian items, low-fat diet. So he was expert in yoga, medicine, plus psychology. And also you may have known that Dean Ornish was the mentor for the former US President, Bill Clinton, you might have known. Clinton was his client. So that much popular, this Ornish. And these are all the figures, as far as my knowledge is concerned. They are having very great role in popularizing yoga therapy. And a few research findings that I want to tell, a few research latest findings. Asanas, if you do for 5 days in a week, your blood flow will be boosted, according to University of Milan. Prayers, that is mantras, they promoted the activities of midbrain, striatum, amygdala, orbitofrontal cortex for higher order cognition and emotions. Prayers are very much important. And meditation is good for high BP, anxiety, insomnia, and heart problems. That's what we could come across from Harvard Medical School. Right kind of diet increases the life expectancy more than a decade, that you have to understand. This is today's data I could gather. Very important data. Right kind of diet, if you follow, your life expectancy will get increased more than a decade for women, 10.7 years for women and 13 years for men. That is the new research study that I could find today. And some other research findings, Tataga meditation is very much good and it increases the segregation of melatonin. In turn, it activates gallbladder, which is responsible for biological clock, that is circadian rhythm, that is wake sleep state. Meditation improves quality of life in heart attack survivors. Sheffield University, recent research finding. And 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation, if you do, it removes bias in amygdala, that is Ball State University, Indiana. And also Harvard School of Health and Royal College of Physicians prescribe the following lifestyle habits to overcome sufferings, very particularly for COVID-19 pandemic sufferers. And they are advised done Royal College of Physicians in London, they done research and they are advising the people to follow 5 important points in order to overcome COVID-19 pandemic. That is, they are advising us to go for plant diet, walking, yoga and meditation, social cohesion we have to promote by accelerating our oxytocin hormone, and no non-smoking. That's what we could come across. So these are all the things that we have to follow in our point. And I want to quote a few things about mindfulness meditation. So according to Vinyan Bhairav Tantra, Lord Shiva tells there are 112 meditation techniques. This mindfulness meditation, why I am giving that much importance? It is the #1 meditation technique in the world today. It is #1 among 112 meditation techniques that we could come across. Why? Because it is #1 meditation technique in the sense it is 50,000 crore industry, exclusively this mindfulness meditation. Rice Davids is the person, he is a Buddhist scholar. He introduced this mindfulness meditation at the beginning of 20th century. It is nothing but awareness of some particular thing. We have to aware on particular thing. We have to observe. That is the main area of this, main purpose of this mindfulness meditation. And it is for your kind information. If you want to do research, or if you are interested in yogic research, and if you want to, otherwise, if you want to apply yoga therapy to the common man, 2 references you have to keep it in your mind. One is modern research findings, what we covered before that. The modern research findings, they lead us to go ahead of our yogic treatment. That is one thing. Second point, we have to go textual references. That is what the ancient people, they advocated, that are come under textual references. For example, you take example of Ayurveda, Tanvandari, Sushruta, Sharaga, they are all well-known Ayurveda experts. Tanvandari is known as the god of medicine, a great surgeon and physician. Sushruta, he is the father of ancient surgery. And Saraga is the great physician. They are all well-known ancient scientists in Ayurveda. So what they have told, without the second opinion, nowadays officially. So if you want to give treatment, you can keep 2 things in your mind. One is keep textual references and treat the patients, or have the research findings, modern research findings, and go for treatment. Here we are having lot of references in related to textual references. That's why I told in the beginning, yoga therapy is not a new concept. It is as old as yoga. You might have known Yajnavalkya, Yajnavalki. He wrote the book Yoga Yajnavalkya Samhita. It is written during Upanishad period, next to Vedic period. Such a fantastic book this is. What Yajnavalki tells, you go for Swastikasana and Bhadrasana. They are good for all kind of diseases. Again he tells, do Simhasana that cures diabetes, bedwetting, and also it is good for indigestion, Simhasana. Mayurasana, it removes all internal diseases. That's what he says. Pranayama is good for Vata related problems, that is 80 kind of diseases, it is good, and eye problems, that's what I told. So these are all some of the concepts that we could come across from Yajnavalki. You might have known Gargi. Gargi is his disciple, student, and later on he married that Gargi. She was the well-known yogini after Lord Parvati, goddess Parvati. Next comes Gorakshataka. Batmasana destroys all diseases. Asanas destroy diseases. Pranayama, the sin. Pratyekara overcomes mental disturbances. That's what Gorakshataka tells. And the next it comes Granda Samhita. It is also one of the ancient texts that we could come across. One of the basic Hatha Yoga texts. What it advocates, Batmasana, Bhadrasana, Simhasana, and Matsyasana, all are good for all kind of diseases. If you do Ujjayi and Mahamudra, they are good for constipation, fever, indigestion, enlargement of spleen, and also destroys all other diseases. Granda Samhita advocates 25 mudras. They are good for 20 types of diseases. Then comes the famous Hatha Yoga Pratipika. What it tells, Mayurasana is good for tumors, that is shivering, and Surya Vedana is good for Vata diseases. Viparita Karani is good for wrinkles and grey hair. Mahamudra is good for skin diseases. And Dauti is good for film diseases, that is 20 type of film diseases. Dauti is good according to Hatha Yoga Pratipika. And Yoga Ragasya, what it tells, Ujjayi is good for insomnia. And again, they advocate, if you go through pulse rate, if you want to find out the pulse rate of any patient, if it is more than 72, we can easily come out to the opinion that he is having physical problems, physical illness. If pulse rate is more than 90, then that person will be having physical as well as mental illnesses. That's what we could come across from Yoga Ragasya of Nadamuni. Kurmasana is good for reproductive organs. Vrikshasana is very good for cleansing all the 7 important chakras. Then comes Hadha Ratnavali. Kapalabhati, Basriha, they are all and obesity. Ujjayi is good for diseases of nadis. Sitali Pranayam is good for overcoming poison. And Nauhasana is good for diseases of legs. These are all some of the textual references. We can't omit these textual references. Of course, we have to follow the modern research findings, but we have to keep this also in our mind. Now we come across, there are 3 main areas in practicing yoga. If you want to be a yogic practitioner, 3 important major benefits you can attain. That is Shakti Krama, that is needed for physical and psychological. It develops power, muscular and concentration, etc. And Adhyatmika, that is Krama, that is understanding God. It is more spiritual. And Sihicha Krama, that is eliminating impurities. These are all the 3 major benefits from by practicing yoga. Physiologically and psychologically, it is good. and spiritually it is good. And if you have any problems, then it helps to overcome by eliminating impurities in our body. There are three principles of yoga therapy mainly. The first principle is purification of nadis. Nadis are getting 72,000 nadis are getting purified by removing blockages from the body. 21 type of toxins will be get rid of from the body. That is one of the principles of yoga therapy. The second principle is reconditioning of the neuromuscular and glandular system. That is immunity we can regain by controlling our neuromuscular and glandular system. It helps a lot, the yoga. And the cultivation of proper psychological attitude to overcome, to remove stress. Now you can come across second-hand stress, second-hand stress. Stress is mainly related to an individual. Second-hand stress is very popular now. That is because of some other persons we are getting stress. That is known as second-hand stress. For everything, whether it is first-hand or second-hand, third-hand or fourth-hand, cultivation of proper psychological attitude, we need yoga therapy. The goal is near for those who are supremely vigorous and intense in practice. That's what Patanjali tells. Now you can come across, there are so many factors of Sikhi Chakrama. That is yoga therapy. What are all the factors? Panchabhutas, koshas, doshas, diet, nadis and chakras, diagnosis, pariksha, treatment, yama and yama principles, and faith in God and therapies. These are all the 11 major factors that a physiotherapist, this yogic therapist, he has to understand and he has to keep it in his mind. He should know thoroughly, he knows about Panchabhutas. He should know about koshas, doshas, dietary pattern, and also nadis and chakras, diagnosis, pariksha, treatment, yama, niyama, faith. Here I want to emphasize more on diet because our life is 60% is occupied by physical activity, that is yogic practices. 40% is occupied by dietary pattern, 60-40. So we can't omit dietary patterns also. As I have already told, in India, 42% are only sattvic dieters, 42%. Remaining 58% are non-vegetarians. Why we have to give importance to sattvic diet means our biological clock will be set. Why we are giving that much importance to diet means, suppose you are having so many workloads, your sleeping pattern has been changed because of your software profession. If you have to go for night shifts and you should not have, if you are not having enough sleep, you are traveling much, you don't worry. Your biological clock will be set right if you follow a simple principle in your life. That is, you take breakfast before 9 o'clock and you take dinner before 7:30 in the night. Early breakfast and early dinner, that will change your improper biological clock so that your circadian rhythm, wake and sleep state will be good, will be corrected. It is one of the secret of the success of. And recently, if you come across the COVID-19 pandemic, for oxygen carrying capacity, nitric oxide, a chemical substance, is very much important. That nitric oxide will get into nitric acid. That nitric acid is helpful for having good oxygen carrying capacity. For example, if you take beetroots, leafy greens, leafy vegetables, berries, and citrus fruits in an appropriate manner, you will have nitric oxide much in the food items. That nitric oxide becomes nitric acid. If you have appropriate and appreciable level of nitric acid, you will have a very great oxygen carrying capacity in your body, so that you can easily come out from these kind of COVID-19 pandemic problems. Very, 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 very easy thing that we have to follow in our life. And for your kind information, this COVID-19 pandemic period, some of the Indian diet patterns are very famous, particularly rasam. Rasam is very famous in the world, and fermented rice water is also very famous, particularly in America, and beetroot juice. These three food items are very popular for the past 2.5 years. So diet, we can't neglect diet. So yogic practices and proper dietary pattern, if you follow in your life, you can achieve anything. You will become from animal-like quality into godly-like qualities you will achieve, you will get. If you are an ignoble person, you will become a noble person. That's what we could come across. Now let us go to that Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas are very essential. If there is a problem in Panchabhutas, then that will create the problems in doshas also. That's why we are giving that much importance to Panchabhutas. You can go through here. If earth quality, that earth quality is very much needed for biological clock. An example of disease is constipation. Water is very much related to effusion of fluid. Effusion of fluid means unrestrained. That meaning is unrestrained. Heavy flow. Then you will have problems in arthritis. If you have any problem in Agni area, it will be because of stress and ulcer. You will get that. This picture will give you a good idea of following your yoga therapy. If someone is having ulcer and comes to you, then you can easily understand it is because of stress. It is because of the area of Agni that has to be set right. That is a very simple thing. Vayu, poor dietary habits, the problems will occur. Excessive wind is the major problem. And ether, that space, stress is the major reason. And BP will occur if it is being affected. At the outset, according to Varoha Upanishad, when the earth region wastes, when the earth region wasted, wrinkles appear. With the watery region wasting away, hairs will become gray. With the wasting of the fiery element, hunger and grace of form fade. With the wastage of air, tremors appear, that is shivering. With that of ether, life ceases. If your space element is weak, then there is a possibility of getting early death. That's what we could understand. And here you are having the table for integrated approach of yoga therapy. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vinganamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. The nature is Annamaya kosha is more related to food, physical body, sattvic diet. If you want to promote your Annamaya kosha, if you want to promote your physical body, you ought to concentrate on the practices of kriyas, loosening the joints, that is what we call in ordinary term warming up activities, Surya Namaskar and asanas. So if you want to promote pranamaya kosha, that is, if you want to promote your physiological functioning of the body, your life, then you have to undergo kriyas, breathing practices, pranayama practices, and chakra activation. If you want to strengthen your manomaya kosha, that is related to psychological, perception, analysis, knowledge, memory, emotional control, emotional stability, habit formation, you ought to go for pratyekara, dharana, dhyana, bhakti, and devotional songs. For Vinganamaya kosha, if you want to promote your personality development, personality transformation, if you want programs, lecture, yogic counseling, intuition, these will help. For promoting Annamaya kosha, that is to understand yourself, self-realization, you have to work on all aspects for getting blissful state. Then we will come to that important point. If you are a yoga therapist, you ought to know about the factors of Chikichakrama, of understanding everything, of getting promoted, getting knowledge in all aspects of the factors. Now you have to get into your examining patients. That is, diagnosis is very, very essential. You have to diagnose the patient. There are 4 areas: darshana, sparshana, prasna, nadi pariksha. You have to observe the patient. Sometimes you have to touch the parts of the patient and you have to come to the conclusion. Sometimes many times you have to go for interview. You have to ask what is his way of life, like that and all. The nadi pariksha is very, very essential. If you want to become a successful yoga therapist, these 4 areas, examining the patients, are very essential. And also you have to keep 4 factors of pariksha. After examining the patient, you have to be in a position to understand what are all the real problems of that particular person, patient. What are all the symptoms of his problems? Kayam, Hetu, that is, what are all the causes of that particular problem? What are all the remedies you have to understand? And Upayam, how to overcome that problem by using the tools. These are all 4 important factors. So, if you want to be a successful yoga therapist, you ought to know the factors, you ought to know examining the patient, and you ought to know the factors of pariksha. And finally, a very, very important concept that we could come across. You are following all the factors. You are following the diagnostic problems, that is by diagnosis areas. And also you come across that what we call the factors of giving pariksha. Now you have to decide how to go ahead of treating the patient. This is very, very important. Direction of treating patients. You have to ascertain whether the 3 areas are there: Brahmana, Langana, Samana. In which category that patient comes, and what kind of treatment you have to give. Suppose if you come across a patient having TB or insomnia or alcoholic, you have to go and you have to keep it in your mind giving Brahmana practices. And if your patient is diabetic, asthmatic, obese, constipation, if he has sinus problems, so these kind of problems are come under this Langana practices. Langana treatment you have to give. For balanced practice, that is, a person is not having any kind of problems, but he wants to promote himself like having the godly like qualities, then it is your duty to, he is healthy, but he wants to attain more wisdom, blissful state, then you have to advise him, that is, you have to activate his Sushma Nadi, that is related to Samana. So these are all the three areas that you have to come across: Brahmana, Langana. If a patient comes, what kind of treatment we have to give, whether Brahmana or Langana or Samana. The nature of that Brahmana is to expand, nourish. If you want to promote weight gain, to gain weight, you have to go for Brahmana practice. If the patient is dull, you have to give Brahmana practice. You think that he is leading sedentary life, you go to Brahmana practice. That you have to make him more active. There you have to give backbend asanas. There you have to advise him to go for long inhalation, loud prayer, uchai, that is, he has to recite mantras loudly, very particularly during winter time. That's why we are having these kind of bhajans during Margazhi month. And what are all the practices that you have to give for Brahmana type of patients? You can give easily the sun salutation, Virabhadrasana, Kapalabhati, these dietary pattern. Ask him to have milk products and nuts. And if your patient is having diabetes or asthma, obesity, constipation or sinus like that, it is your duty to reduce his weight. He has to lose his weight. He will be more anxious. He will be more agitated. That kind of problems are having in that particular patient. It is because of more physical works. Actually, he is in anxious state. He is in beta waves, having beta waves. So it is your duty to make him relaxed. So you ask him to go for forward bends in asanas. Twisting asanas are very, very easy and essential. And ask him to go for giving much importance to exhalation. Soft prayer, that is, Upamsu is very, very essential for him. So Brahmana practices are needed for the sedentary people. Langana practices are very, very essential for a patient to get relaxed. And vegetables and fruits are very much needed for the Langana type of treatment given to the patients. And Samana means specification, mitigation, alleviation. That is balancing energy. So here we have to go for even inhalation, even exhalation. Inhalation and exhalation should be done evenly. Calmness is the major concept, alertness at the outset. For that kind of persons coming for your advice, it is your duty to activate his Sushma Nadi. So this slide is very, very essential if you want to become a very good yoga therapist. And a few things that I want to tell you because of lack of time. There are so many practices for diabetics, asthma, high BP, obesity, back pain. If you have time, you ask the organizers to get this kind of whole PPT you get and you can go through. It doesn't mean this is the best. It will guide you. That's what I want to tell you. There are so many problems and so many practices I am giving. Including cancer. And here we come across the popular yogic practices during COVID-19 pandemic period. And before that, we will go for, this is popular COVID-19 pandemic. These are all the practices became very popular throughout the world. the sufferers, coronavirus affected sufferers, COVID-19 pandemic sufferers, they used to do Jalaneti, Pavanamuttasana series, Tadasan, Makarasan, Murdasan, diaphragmatic breathing, Ujjayi, Sahaj Pranayam, Linga Mudra, Yoga Mudra became very popular, Prana Mudra, and Yoga Nidra and mindfulness meditation are very, very useful to the COVID-19 pandemic sufferers, because these practices promoted their immunity power, increased this oxygen carrying capacity, and activates, when you do yogic practices, their genes related to coronaviruses, TLR1, C6, F106, AR genes are getting perfected. Cytokine spike proteins are related to COVID sufferers. They are getting promoted. Endorphins, estrogen, osteocalcin, osteocalcin, catecholamines, they are very much in a balanced state for the sufferers. All will get promoted, and particularly FAAH gene promoted to get godly-like qualities. AMPK genes are very much needed to overcome all kind of diseases. So diet also, due to constraint of time, that I will give you a few things. If you are a healthy person, have superfoods. Superfoods, nothing but spinach, apple, berries, curd, green tea, ghee, dal, black colored food items, carrot, banana, coconut, jackfruit. These are all superfoods. If you are healthy, you go along with all these food items. And I have given some of the special features of yogic practices that you can understand easily. These are all, you might have known these things already. And here what I want to come. I gave this module for a healthy person. If you get balanced in these Vata, Pitta, Kapha, balanced state, you won't have any type of problems. So already I told you, yoga is if you follow these items, if you do these practices, you will be more healthy. You won't have any kind of problems in life, whether it is physical or physiological or psychological. You ought to go for prayer. So some of the practices, they are balancing 3 doshas. Loosening the joints, stretching exercises. Surya Namaskar, Trikonasana, Vrikshasana, Viparita Karani, Matsyasana, Ushtasana, Dhanurasana, Ardhamachendrasana, Paschimottanasana, Bhastrika Pranayam, Nadishodhana Pranayam. That can be done in Siddhasana. Bhastrika can be done in Batmasana. Saman Mudra, transcendental meditation. And the modifications you have to give if you have any person comes with some diseases. So Surya Namaskar, so many benefits. Trikonasana, so many benefits. Vrikshasana, so many benefits. Viparita Karani, so many benefits. Matsyasana, so many benefits. Ushtasana, the #1 backbendasana. And also Dhanurasana, very much needed for ladies. And also Ardhamachendrasana, Paschimottanasana, Bhastrika Pranayam, and Nadi Shodhana and Saman Mudra balances all 3 doshas. And also you have to go for transcendental meditation to ease your life. And also then you have to, this is also one of the important slide I want to share with you. Classical yogic practices we are to follow. There is no second opinion. Suppose if the patient or if a person couldn't do classical postures to get rid of his problem, modifications can be done. Props can be used. A few examples I am giving for modifications. Suppose Uttana to bend his knees, no problem, forward. If he couldn't do Paschimottanasana in a classical way, let him flex his knees a little bit, no problem, ask him to do. This is known as modifications. So, if you want to be a successful yoga therapist, you ought to know the classical yogic practices, at the same time how to modify, how to use the props to excel in your profession. Suppose in pranayama, modifications can be done by using chairs, can differ from one to one on intensity, density, volume of the practice. If you are a researcher, you can understand easily the intensity, density, and volume of the practice. You can modify accordingly. For exhalation, you can ask him to do chanting, Om chanting like that in pranayama practices. Suppose if you want to modify, if he is not good in meditation, if he couldn't control his utmost concentration, he can be done while doing asana with or without chanting. He can do asana and he can meditate in that asana. That's what, for example, Virabhadrasana. By doing Virabhadrasana, by coming to that finer posture, he can meditate. There is nothing harm in it. Chanting also, there are so many modifications. These modifications, this slide will be more helpful to you. So at the outset, I express my sincere thanks to the organizers. Before getting to conclude my few thoughts, you ought to understand yoga is the rhythm of the body, the melody of the mind, the harmony of the soul, creating the symphony of life. With the sayings of BKS Iyengar, I end my speech. Thank you very much for having given this opportunity. Very much I am thankful to Dr. Sushila Madam. She is the pride of Indian yoga, world yoga, a great meditator, a born yogini, an excellent women yogini in modern times. Once again, I express my sincere thanks to you one and all for having this patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your elaborate, inspiring speech. Now we have to open for the chat box for the any queries. Dear students,
I'll
Sir?
enable the chat, ma'am. Shall I?
yes, yes, sir.
Please.
Can you just some tips for digestion problem?
Digestion, you know, what I have given in that fire. So you have to follow both yogic practices as well as dietary practice.
Okay,
The
sir.
regarding why we are having diet problems, you know, how we have to get it, you know, there are two important areas that you have to concentrate, that you have to understand. One is brain and the another one is gut area, stomach area. Why? Because 50%, I mean 50 hormones are segregated in the brain and 30 hormones are getting segregated in gut area. If your gut area is in proper condition, there won't be any kind of dietary problems. So simply you do what I have given in that last module, that is for balancing 3 doshas. That practices if you do, definitely you won't have any kind of problems.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, they want to give some information about Murcha Pranayama and Plavani Pranayama.
Plavani pranayama that can be done for coming out from floor, you know, that is the that will be helpful, that pranayam. Mocha pranayam will be helpful. It is a finer area of that pranayam that also you can find out in so many books, very particularly in a bigger school of yoga books, and you can get promoted your two concepts. They are finer pranayama practices.
Yes, sir. And then, thank you, sir. How autism in kids can be treated yoga therapy? Is it possible? They want to.
Definitely, because there are some stages. That stages you can come one by one. So the karma yoga, you have to give more importance. And also chanting mantras are very, very essential. Pavanamuttasana series, the basic series are very essential. And very particularly the butterfly pose and child pose. So very, very basic practices, asana practices you have to give. Basic yogic pranayama breathing, that is Nadi Shodhana, Sahaji pranayam, Ujjayi pranayam. These are all very helpful for them. They can overcome little by little. Very definitely these practices will be helpful for autism children.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. They want to have some tips for bedwetting children, sir. Bedwet.
The children, you know, they can't do what we call the Surya Namaskar and other Kapalabhati, Bhastrika and all. The basic asanas, basic pranayama practices, and they can't go for 20 minutes of meditation and all. They have to go for visualization. They have to realize their own body parts, and yoga games they have to undergo. So we have to modify the practices according to the need of the children. So if you give even Surya Namaskar, it is available for children. So you have to find out, and you have to frame a module exclusively for children, and you give definitely, because why they are having these problems, they are more hyperactive. See, the children, they have to get their puberty at the age of 14 only. So if their lifestyle is wrong, then they will have hyperactivity in their early age, that is around 8, 9 and all. They will be more emotionally unstable. So and other things. So in that way, we have to go ahead of these practices, and definitely you can overcome these practices.
Yes, sir.
These are all simple things, that is for
Yes,
bedwetting and all.
So they want to show the back pain slide. They want to show, sir. Once show the back pain. So you have mentioned the obese and back pain. No, they want to do back pain
slide.
yoga therapy for the back pain management.
Okay. 1 minute.
Just
1 minute. So we had to go a long way. You wait.
Okay, sir. No issues, sir. We will share the PPT, sir.
No. Wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are waiting, sir.
This is for diabetics, asthma, BP, obesity, back pain. All standing asanas are good. All standing asanas good, especially Bhujangasana, Salabhasana, Dhanurasana, Ushtrasana, Sedubandhasana, Ardhamachendrasana. So if they can't do, they can go for Vakrasana, preparatory practice, or you can modify these practices. For upper back, Tadasana and Parikasana and Komugasanas are very good. For if they have back pain at the tailbone, then they have to go for Pavanamuttasana series, Shashangasana, Marjari Asana and Kapotanasana. They are all good. Ujjayi and Nadishodhana are good. And salad and fruits, you have to avoid bananas. Light cooked vegetables are good. So back pain, already I told you some of the areas we can excel in yoga therapy. That area is pain management. Pain management, insomnia, and these all kind of lifestyle diseases. Yoga is the only major remedy. This back pain, you can go ahead with these practices.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think we received the very good positive feedback, sir. Nice session, excellent section. Yes, sir, definitely. I'm checking, sir. Is there any omission? Very informative, sir. Can we take non-veg food while practicing yoga?
So it is a complex and tricky matter. So one thing I want to tell you, Buddha, is very popular, very famous. Buddha talked much about many things, but he didn't talk about religion, mainly Hinduism. He didn't touch Hinduism. Like that, we should not give too much importance to dietary patterns. When they do yogic practices, automatically they won't in urge of having tamasic food items. Simply they will forget. Simply they will go for sattvic food items. So at this juncture, we no need to worry about whether he is vegetarian or non-vegetarian. The whole world, what it advocates, now it is pagan diet is very popular. Pagan diet. Pagan diet means vegetarian food items will be 75% and 25% NV items. But red meat you have to avoid. You have to avoid completely red meat. You can have chicken, or you can have, if you are very much in want of NV items, go for chicken, fish. And at one stage, you won't accept tamasic food items. You will strive only for sattvic food items. That's why sattvic food, that is lacto-vegetarian food items, are very popular nowadays at this COVID juncture throughout the world.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Which is the best meditation technique for the scholar and students?
No, see, we can't have one meditation technique for all 800 crore people because all are different. That's why we are having at the outset 112 meditation techniques as advocated by Lord Shiva. And Osho also accepts that is. Mahesh Maharishi, he is very much accustomed, very much trained in 70 meditation techniques. So it will vary. There are three, according to Granda Samgita, there are 3 types of meditation. Stula meditation, Tejo meditation, and Sukshma meditation, Sukshma Dhyana. For beginners, Stula meditation will be good. What we call this Yoga Nidra or Transcendental meditation, they are all good. Tejo meditation, you have to use light. And Sukshma meditation, that is superior and also finer meditation. If you are a regular practitioner, like our Dr. Sushila, then only you will attain Sukshma meditation. That is the final aspiring point of doing Sukshma meditation. So, according to the nature of the person, we have to adopt a particular type of meditation. At the outset, what we used to tell, you should not change the meditation techniques often. If one shoots to you, then you stick to that meditation. If it is not suitable, for example, Ravi Shankar's meditation, some they won't accept, some they couldn't they won't tolerate that kind of meditation. So whichever is suited to you, you go ahead. That is our general suggestion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Madam?
So at the outset, I express my sincere thanks to the organizers, and we are all born for serving the society. Service is our prime motive for our birth. So what I advise, let us go ahead with serving the people. Mother's milk is not for mother, but for children. Fruits are not for trees, but for human beings. Fragrance of the flowers, not for flowers, but for human beings. Our life is not for us, but for the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Madam?
Madam, you please post the feedback.
Yes, madam. Done, madam. Done,
Three
madam.
groups போட்டிருக்கோம், madam. Yesterday it was not put in the third group, it seems. And wanted to remind you.
Yes, madam.
Thank you, sir.
My special thanks to the laborious and hardworking way that she is organizing these short-term courses. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your session, sir. It was very wonderful session, sir. We gained a lot of knowledge from your session. Thank you so much for coming to our program, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to highlight a sum up of your session, sir. Thank you for your wonderful, inspiring and motivating lecture on alleviating sufferings, therapeutic values of yoga. Sir, note mudila. I got noted all. I learned a lot, sir, from you. Thanks. First of all, I bow my head and thank you so much. First, sir, I just highlighted the points. The purpose of life is to lead a happy life. Sir has mentioned initially start. Then 66.5% is the low physical activity as per the statistics. So India is the 139th rank. They are placed in the happiest in the world. Sir has mentioned, and 93% sleeping disorder. This is the 4th place, and 87% health reason for the improper sleep. Also, Sir has mentioned, and 230 crores are doing yoga practices nowadays. But 52 years back, the few women were practicing yoga. As per the today's report, 72% are female yogi practitioner. As Sir has mentioned, I'm proud to say, yes, sir. Again, we have to motivate even male also. Children are doing, sir, nowadays, I think so. So yoga is having a bright future, sir has mentioned. Then he has given the recent health status of the Indians also. 28.7% Indians suffering from knee pain, 300% increase in cancer in 2018 onwards. So Delhi people lose 9.5 years of life due to the pollution. Yes, sir. These are the some few highlight I have given. Sir has given many more. And today's, as per the today's newspaper, we could understand, sir, improper diet leads to 1.1 crores death globally and 25.5 crores disability adjusted life years annually. Sir has given as per the global report. These are the alarming status we have to see, participants. Definitely, we are the persons to responsible to give to promote encouraging practices to the society. And the recent research findings, he has given enormous information, and through the asana and the Trataka meditation increases secretion of melatonin. He has explained in the scientific proved articles also. So because yoga is not only an art, but also is a science. He has given with the authentic journal articles also. So like Swastikasana, Bhadrasana is good for all diseases. Yes, butterfly pose. Also, it's good for release from diseases. Mayurasana especially removes all the internal diseases. He has mentioned in his lecture. Pranayama good for the Vata and eye problem. Pratyahara is overcome the stress, everything. And he has highlighted the principles of yoga therapy. Then 11 factor of karma. Very, very, very impressed, sir. We are very much impressed about these factors of karma. That is Panchabhutas, Koshas, Doshas, diet, nadis, chakras, nadi pariksha, and diagnosis, pariksha, treatment, yama, niyama, and faith. Yes, sir. In India, 42% only Sattvic diet, remaining 58% are non-vegetarian. Sir has mentioned, because the proper diet is one of the principle we are having, definitely, because Sattvic food, it is easily digested and well-balanced, nutritious food. We know as a yogi people, we know, but at least at the age of 40, doctor would say nowadays, doctors are advising you please cut they take only fiber rich protein and all, oil, less oil, but we are not promoting at that much level, we feel, but we are the authority to say, to spread this news to the society. In this position we are having, definitely sir will have so many programs. Through this we have to achieve this point, because now only I know that 42% only Sattvic society, remaining 58% are non-veg. Oh, yeah, because our director is example, our director Dr. Vendajalapati is example, because being I'm as a vegetarian family, born and brought up, that I can manage. But as Vendajalapati sir is a family is a non-vegetarian, but after knowing the yoga, he has completely changed, because all depends on our mind, that we have to take in account. Today, this message we have to at least take in account. So because of the mind habits, only we have to change our mind. Attitude automatically change. Attitude means be not behavior and all. Changing our habits mainly. Sir has given so many data. I was so afraid. I wanted to again spread to our own students also. Yoga practices helps to tolerate pain. Tolerate pain by purifying our practices. Definitely, because I had experience, sir might be knowing, I had experience only that only the yoga people have tolerate the pain. So then nowadays the pain management is a separate field, but our people is the responsible for maintaining the tolerance. Automatically we have to tolerance our pain through the body, everything we have to post rehabilitation, post surgery rehabilitation. Definitely we can maintain with our own practices. Only thing Sarah has mentioned, yoga is a preventive and maintenance and control that we have to take. It's not a just like that 1 week we have to practice, then automatically if you take a tablet for stomach pain, likewise body pain, paracetamol, automatically it will go off. But yoga is not like that. Yoga people definitely know the only thing we have to practice till our last breath. That is our main motto we have to take. Because if we have a tablet, it leads to some other consequences. Like if a tablet, nowadays a dolo, everyone is having a dolo in our home, because the spreading is more nowadays due to the pandemic situation. But we have a stomach upset and oftenly we take. But if you do the one asana, two asanas, sir has mentioned, multiple effect we have, that we have to understand. First, we have to understand ourselves, that because our aim is that theme is the world transmission through self-transmission. Like this, we have to take our first, then we have to promote and encouraging to the society. So Sir has given popular yogic practices during the COVID-19 pandemic also. Sir has mentioned the diet needed to overcome the sufferings. The diet is also very important. Yogic practices for balancing three doshas. Sir has given nicely explained balancing three doshas that we have to take, and starting from prayer and meditation. Yes, that's why we also put here some mantras and are rejuvenating and relaxing our mind. Then we have to come up, because since morning we are working. Then automatically 4 o'clock, again we have to sit with the relax and they have to start the session. For that reason, we have to put some prayer and all. So Sir has finally mentioned yoga props. That is a very, very, very important aspect, because as a specialization of yoga therapist, definitely, sir, If you're showing some asanas, people may say, no, I can't do this practice, I can't do this posture and all. Easily they have escaped from this position. But if you see with the props, like even Vajrasana, bedroll, some low stool, open stool like this, we have to rest our hands easily, nicely, and you have to stretch our arms nicely with the supporting of the bedroll or soft pillow and all. Definitely we can do all the movements, at least that is called modified asanas. That is called modified asanas. Sir has mentioned everything. Definitely it will reach to the audience. Finally, Sir has end with yoga is the rhythm of the body, the melody of the mind, the harmony of the soul, creating the symphony of life. Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Is you are inspiring, wonderful speech to definitely to reach to the audience. I have learned a lot from you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
accepting our invitation. It's a short notice. So I called sir. Immediately he has accepted. And I also thank your students, your scholars has also involved, participated in our university program. On behalf of the IQAC of Annamalai University and Center for Yoga Studies, thank you very much for your inspiring lecture, wonderful information. Thank you, sir. No
Thank
words
you.
to express. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Dr.
sir. It is
Venkatachalamurthy.
an enlightened speech, sir. Again, we are meet through that online means we are very happy on behalf of the Center for Yoga Studies in Annamalai University.
You are
as well as
the legend. You are the iconic figure. Art is yoga. Yoga is Venkatachalamurthy. Venkatachalamurthy is yoga. So with one
sir.
sentence we
Well
can.
said, sir. Well said. That is why I quoted his name
Thank you very
also.
much.
Because that's important, sir. Being a vegetarian family, we can maintain. But as I always said, sir is changing food habits. It's not at all possible in family. Sir is the role model. For that reason, I usually quote about sir. Sir, Kevi sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very much.
Thank you,
Our
sir.
special thanks to the Sai Leela madam also and Jayaprakash also. And thanks to everyone and the participants. My extraordinary and excellent, graceful thanks to our speaker, today's speaker, Dr. Gilonguvan sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ananda. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
Madam, you.
Yes, another 5 minutes I'll be waiting, ma'am. And then,
Okay. Dear participants, feedback form has been already posted in the chat box. Please send the feedback form for attendance purpose. It is available only for another 5 minutes. For your information, please. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. And JP sir, thank you. Jayaprakash sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.